Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another Downtime in the Hangar where we talk about all things GBO2 and sometimes get on some tangents from other stuff. This is about GBO2? What? Um, but anyway, so how was everybody's week? Who wants to go first? Emblem, you want to start?
Sure. Pretty good. I've been dabbling a little bit in Romancing Saga 3. Fantastic game. Strongly recommend. 'Cause I've been kind of like touching on wanting to play it for a while, and I just like opted to get it. Chat was just like, well, it's out now. I was like, yeah, I know. And I was like, oh, it's on sale. I was like, yeah, I know. I was like, I might as well just play it.
So what
And
kind of what
the
kind of
game's
game is it?
awesome.
Like I just saw you
It's an
getting
RPG.
wrecked at the end of your stream.
The last time, yeah, we were fighting Anus, the fire Sinistral. It's actually like Anus or whatever. It's Anus with an extra U in it. Aunus. But I'm pretty sure you're supposed to call him Anus. But anyway, I think I was just in over my head fighting a boss because they let you go anywhere you want, pretty much. So I literally was in the forest where they have like probably like the actual music is good, but the animal noises are the most triggering thing ever. It's literally like good music, and then like they have like skirt and just like bird noises and stuff.
Okay, what I saw too, it was pretty rough, especially in the jungle. Like, oh my god.
Oh yeah. But literally, I got there by accident because there's a trick to it. If you ever played any RPG where it's like you're in an area that loops you around. I literally like by accident went to a room and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back into this room. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go over here, and then I went back into the room I just left, and I was at the fire fortress. Like, oh, let's go inside and check it out. So we pretty much just like went in and got our butts kicked, but it was fun. And I'll just say this about the game: I really like the way the game gives you that good feels when you're playing it. Like Magnum, you play Path of Exile. You know how like you get that good feeling whenever you find like a legendary item or a unique or whatever.
Yeah.
Something drops. I don't know what loot filter you have or whatever, but you hear that little like burn or ding or whatever.
Exalted
when you're legendary or whatever. And Saga games, whenever you like are in battle, you learn skills on the fly, unlike traditional RPGs where they have levels. And say you hit level 5 and you learn tackle. And the Saga games, particularly in 3, your character just light bulbs and he has an epiphany essentially, and he uses a new move.
Oh, that's kind of
so
cool.
you get in the middle of battle. But I do a really good job of making the characters feel like they're not heroes, if that makes sense. Like you're just normal guys who are out there doing stuff. And the way you learn skills, because you have a higher chance to learn abilities in fights. So it almost feels like your characters are just like you see it troped a lot, but like human potential and all that good jazz.
Yeah.
The game does a really good job of tapping into human potential in a non-cheesy way, because it's almost like your party steps up to the plate to take on an arduous challenge by having a better chance to learn hard-hitting like new skills and stuff like that. And it just feels good, like when you're in a hard boss fight and your character like does a little like sparking moment, I think is what it's called, and it just dodges an insta kill or learns a new technique and it does like 1,000 damage or something like that. It feels good to play. Like I like it a lot.
Yeah,
cool.
Frontier had that kind of stuff in it where they'd like have a light bulb come up over their head and they'd learn this insane variation on an attack or something like that.
Yeah, it's so good. Like I can't get over how much I like the game. And apparently Last Remnant is a Saga game, quote unquote, or something like that. If you ever played it.
So
like kind of in the same universe, or just like,
well, from what chat was telling me, it was supposed to be like I guess Saga Frontier or Romancing Saga or whatever 3. One of the third games. Like I don't know if they're making like a remake or a remaster or something, but it just ended up being The Last Remnant. But
Yeah.
did you ever play it, Gustav?
No, but I also know that Frontier was supposed to be Romancing Saga 4, and then they changed that over time into its own thing.
Well, let me just put it like this: have you ever played you've played the romancing games or any of the Saga games in Commander mode, right?
Yeah.
The battle system for Last Remnant is Commander mode.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah, every single fight is Commander mode. And it's pretty good. It's
almost like their own tactics variant of.
Yeah, and it like shares a lot of weapons, and the dragon from Romancing Saga 3 is in Last Remnant as an optional boss.
Oh, okay. I think I know what you're talking about.
That's a series that I really need to like get more into.
So here's my question: do you need to play like the
Mhm.
first one to get into 3, or is it a separate story? Or
I've never played any of them except for Last Remnant, apparently. So, and I'm enjoying it, and I don't feel lost. Like the games seem to be somewhat standalone, besides just like probably little
Yeah.
little throwouts. Like somebody might mention a name. It's like if you played 2, it's like teehee, they were in Romancing Saga 2 or whatever. But
You had a
I
lot of
haven't-
like generic characters, except for like I think the first and last rulers of those generations for the game.
yeah, they probably like
maybe
refer
some
to
of the things
them.
that they were fighting, but like
Mhm.
everything else is like just generic characters that filled out your party. So you're not missing too much, I don't think,
okay,
from game to game.
10 out of 10 would recommend. Go buy it on Steam.
how much is it right now? Actually,
If it's still on sale, it's like $24 or something like that. It's cheap.
do they have the others on Steam, or is it
I know
just-
2's on there. I'm not sure about 1
if 2's cheap
or
enough, I
like
might
any of the
pick that
Frontier
up.
games or whatever.
Yeah, it's just 2 right now.
But I
It's
digress.
like
Anyway,
3.
I'm really liking the game, and I could go on. We could turn this into a saga podcast if we wanted to. I'd be willing to talk about it.
I mean, the
So
last
my-
time we
my
talked,
day's been good.
we turned into fighting for a good part of it. So this is just part of our thing at this point.
Good week, fun games.
Many
And all
game
that jazz.
plays.
Yeah.
Okay, who wants to go next? Maniac? Your work get
Oh.
easier.
Yeah, kinda.
There we go.
Leader on.
Thank you, Furnace. Anyway, so my week has been pretty decent-ish. Work is work. Getting ready for Thanksgiving.
Ooh.
That's gonna be a whole other thing.
Oh, let me tell you this: Thanksgiving at where I work,
Oh, like you have like a group thing that they do?
it's our busiest holiday.
Ah, okay.
If I work at Cracker Barrel, so we have like
Oh.
over. Let me tell you this: we've had over 20,000 customers.
Wow.
Shit.
Insane.
Just during the holiday season?
Is that like an
entire year?
No. That's within a day.
That's absurd.
Well,
you guys must be like
now I'm combining takeouts or
Mhm.
carry out orders and catering stuff as well. So not only dine in but also out. So everybody's just slammed. Like it is our busiest holiday there, and thank God my manager's going to tell me to do night maintenance. I'm not going to be in the dish pit dying.
The dish pit, man. When I was in foods, I was in the dish pit. I actually didn't mind that too much. The minute they put me on the floor, I was just pissed off all the time.
And are you talking about like Thanksgiving's gonna be busy or
Yeah,
you
no,
guys had a-
like no.
I mean,
Okay.
holidays suck in general, but like Thanksgiving
you
in
ain't lying.
particular.
Thanksgiving, the day Thanksgiving is our busiest day, right next to Mother's Day.
Wow.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I could see that. Like I know the way we do Christmas and Thanksgiving is we're gonna have it like first week of December there, which I was actually kind of curious on that Tuesday. I gotta like take my mom to the airport and throw her on a plane. So
Throw her up.
so she can get
Grab
so
your
she can get
dog
back
and
to
yeet
California.
her on up.
But yeah, I didn't know what time that would be, so I was like, there for a minute, I thought I'd be like, guys, schedule change maybe, but no, it's I got to take her to the airport at like noon or something, so I'll probably just get back and start doing some GBO2 before that week. But
I mean, that is one thing to keep in mind. And I think we are talking about it a little bit, but there probably will be days where we'll just either have to reschedule or like rethink things just because the holidays are going to be busy.
yeah, we'll figure out like there we might. It sounds like we're going to be taking off like maybe 1 to 2 weeks in a row with Christmas, but we'll actually post something about that. But anyway, but yeah, sorry, Maniac. But yeah, that's
Oh,
as
no,
far
that's-
as far as the point. It's just like
Yeah.
we go to like Golden Corral or Crackle Barrel around here is what we do, and yeah, it's just packed on
It's-
Thanksgiving. Like it is.
So you're the one making Maniac work so
Yeah,
hard.
yeah.
It was
Yeah.
you.
No, seriously though, like I went to we tried to go to Golden Corral and there was literally a line that wrapped around to the other line that wrapped back around to where you started the line outside the door.
Nice. It sounds like having a Star Wars movie at the theater.
Yeah, pretty much.
really worked there.
Exactly. Like that was equivalent or going to some convention or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
One of those lines.
That sounds like Cracker Barrel.
And I was like
It is a little crazy though, because I'm so used to having like people do stuff at home. Like I never really even consider how hard people get hit, because I think the place that I worked at was a pizza buffet, and they were busy all the fucking time because it was also kid friendly on top of all that. So like they didn't
Get
need
all
an
the little
excuse.
kids.
Yeah, so you get them for when they had days off. You had them when their school takes them there and all this other bullshit. So it was like you're always constantly dealing with people. So those
CC's be
holidays,
jumping on Black Friday.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was because we were in a strip mall. That shit was a
oh
nightmare.
gosh, yeah, dude. Especially with all those sales. Ugh.
Oh,
Have fun.
God.
Whatever. This year we're good though, Gustav. We're off for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Am I right, bud?
Yep. Actually, I'm probably gonna have to go and do it at least for a couple days, because I know there's gonna be a bunch of orders, and I'm gonna end up in really weird places, but it's probably gonna be good money.
There you go.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll tip you well.
Mhm. They're usually pretty good about that around here. Actually,
yeah.
that's mostly what I've been doing this week too. By the way, like I don't got a whole
Good
lot of
transition.
updates.
What else has been going on?
I finished the final chapter 4 for Octopath, and then I realized I kind of have to figure out how to get to the rest of the game. So I'm gonna have to start doing side quests a lot more than I was before.
Yeah, you
So
got to take on my
hopefully
boy Galdera.
Yeah, man. All of the stories hint at it, and it seems so obvious. And yet I was like, maybe there's a sequence that happens after you finish the last one. But it's assuming in every scenario that you're either solo or that's the first one you've ever done.
Mhm.
Because of that disjointedness, it doesn't flow into something else. You have to find it. So it's technically considered a secret, but it's the overarching thing that's happening in the world. So to me, that's a little bit more important than even all their personal arcs.
That's one of the
it's-
things I don't like about Octopals. I think the story fails because of that.
Oof.
And then Frontier 1 was very like that. But you the scenarios didn't merge together. You just had overlapping characters that would be in your party from scenario to scenario. The final boss for that section would just bring you back to the character select screen, essentially. Instead of you
But
going
those
from town
games
to town
probably
and
do it
finding
better
them.
though, right?
Yeah, because even Saga Frontier 2, it does it in a timeline, like a historical timeline. And then everything comes to a head towards the end, between generations. That's the interesting thing, though. You know how Romancing Saga has a lot of generational stuff.
I've
2
heard,
has
but I
that,
haven't played any.
where you're actually going after the main antagonist or the main creature or whatever through this entire family's lineage
That's cool.
until the end. So I thought that was really cool. But yeah, I'm gonna have to start working on that. And then besides that, I finished up the Crossrays demo, all the scenarios that were available. I feel like I should grind a little bit, but I also don't know if we're gonna get it on PS4 or if I'm just gonna get it on Steam.
Yeah, I mean, if you're grinding, you're pretty much working towards the Singapore version of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So like right now, that's the only place you can get the demo, and
Well, you can download it on the Japanese store, and it's on the
Okay.
Switch as well. But there's no like Steam demo or anything like that.
yeah, I thought about trying it out one day, just to.
I would recommend it. I mean, if you have a Singapore account or even JP and you don't mind
was
us
gonna
playing it
say.
in Japanese, it's free. So
Like I had to make a Singapore account for it, but like I don't know. I like the gameplay loop of those games, even if I'm not super familiar with the IPs that they're using. So like that
Right.
that's not a super big deal for me.
Mobile Suit Gundam Oof. What is that? Never even heard of it. Oof.
Sorry about
Now,
that.
before we move on, Gustav, I really want to ask, because this is a burning question I have. What's your like main go-to party in Octopals?
Octopals, fuck. I
And
mean,
I'd like to know
Therion.
classes
Therion
as
is a
well.
fucking G.
Well, what do
And
you have
I
him doing?
Oh god, what did I have him doing? Actually, dancer.
Because my Therion was a spellcaster.
I had him in fucking as a fucking dancer for most of it. It was between dancer and hunter, and to me, it's not so much about what class I had them in immediately, unless it's just certain things that I'm lacking in my composition. It's about what skills I want them to have from those classes, and I'll just put them through hell until they get there. So, like,
Right.
SP Saver was a big one. Patience was a big one. Second Serving, I think, got mussed around every once in a while, but that was another nice one. Like, Hunter was very useful to me. Even
I mean,
if
Hunter's
the whole,
disgusting, so I hear that.
yeah, it's super gross. So I had him for that. Thief actually got passed around a lot just because SP Share and
SP
like
Share is
HP and
nice.
SP Drain was really nice, and Aber's Reckoning is really powerful. Like just boosting up someone's speed and having them tear through like an entire group. Like
Just Warcry, everyone.
That's true. Oh, that's the other thing. I need to get the extra classes. That's something I should.
Oh,
do
you haven't done
first
them yet?
before I do the rest.
Oh,
No,
I strongly
I blew
recommend.
through all the chapter 4s with just the
Gotcha.
regular classes. Because I thought
Dude,
there was gonna be a bunch more, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Sorry,
I might have
bud.
gotten a little too hasty.
Dude, my end game credit scene, you know how like they play the credits and it's like your final blows on all the bosses. Mine, like at a certain point, was Tressa smashing mobs with Warcry. Like it was pretty awesome. It pretty much became like a Warcry boss finish, like what's it called, exhibition like video. I could have made a YouTube video out of it. It's like sick Warcry finishes with Tressa.
Actually, a bunch of mine
Octopals.
were soul stones.
Nice.
Because I was like, well, I got the loop. Some of these guys don't have anything to do on their turn, so I was like, well, let's just use an item, and then of course that would be the finishing blow. But after a while, it just turned into Ulbrich whipping out Brand's Thunder and wreaking havoc upon that ass. So that was a lot more satisfying to have. I kind of wish I would have hit those for that sequence instead.
Well, I hope you have Tress in your party. That's all I gotta say. Go ahead, Magnum.
So like, Octopath, I need to get that game. I want to play it now that we can finally get it on Steam. I just need to find it cheap enough, and then boom, definitely pulling the trigger.
Yeah, so wait for it to go on. Wait for it to see if we can go on sale. I'd probably do that.
But yeah, here's my question for you guys though. In just any game like that, whatever you're playing, like even go to something like Mass Effect or like just for some reason the first game that I decided to think of was like Valkyrie Profile or something like that. I don't know if you guys have played that, any of those.
Indivisible's out, by the way, if you wanted to.
I really want Indivisible. Holy
it looks pretty nice.
It looks so cool.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out.
All the combos and all the crazy shit that they do in there.
It looks like it plays just like the Valkyrie Profile games, Magnum.
And like a bunch of fighting game references and stuff in there too.
You have
I
to
can
check that
appreciate
out.
that game.
But like, as far as the characters though, like with the Valkyrie Profile, you run into all these different characters. And,
right, on Harryar.
Yeah, and so like you're like, oh, what party am I gonna have together? So when you guys make a party, whatever game it is, like, are you looking for just whatever works, or this person's got an extra interesting story, or they're an interesting character, and you put them together as your like main group that you're using, or is it skills or what?
Mine's is kind of a combination. In Octopals, Tressa's like top tier #1 waifu. So she was in my party at all times.
Tressa is baby, pretty much.
Tressa's like, on my opinion, the best character in the game, and I'm totally.
I mean, Hanet's my favorite, but like
Hanet's cool too. Like if I had to rank them, like it's Tressa, Hanet, Ophelia, then Primrose. Primrose is like outdated, debated, overrated. Like not. I was like over her. Like every time people talk about Tressa, like literally it was like they're trying to beat you over the head with the stick that said Tressa was, or that said Ophelia or Primrose is hot. Sorry, I'm gonna get there eventually. Because there'd just be all this stuff and it'd just be like they would just like hint at it really hard. And like it's just like, okay, we get it. Tressa's or I keep saying the wrong name because
it got really awkward in her final chapters too, because it was like people from her childhood that took care of her when she was little being like, God damn, she got hot.
Yeah, it's like Primrose is like, all right,
don't lay it on that thing. That's a little creepy.
Yeah, but it depends. Like I would probably say if it's a first playthrough, I'm kind of just dicking around and doing whatever. And if I find a character I like, I'll put him in my party. But if I do like subsequent playthroughs, we're in on min maxing. Like I'll cheat. I mean, you see me play Gundam versus Zeta Gundam, I'll cheese the hell out of something if I notice it. But like if it's a subsequent playthrough, like the kid gloves are off. We're going like super hardcore, like optimal setups. I like to stomp things into the ground.
Like so the couple other than Valkyrie profile, Mass Effect, Dragon Age, stuff like that come to mind for me, and like I'll do like, oh well, this is like the coolest character ever, so I don't care, they're working into the party somehow, right? If that happens, but otherwise I'm like, yeah, this works, it just works. So whatever party just fits together, I'm like, oh, these skills were cool, yeah, let's do this. And then if they happen to be a cool character, then double nice. But
hey man, I feel you. That's why I used the little wyvern in F-Zero, man. It's Fox's daddy. It's James McLeod. You gotta race with him.
Or even then sometimes, by the way, speaking of F-Zero, man, we need a new one. I'm so sad,
I
dude.
agree, but
like,
sorry, that's a dead IP, my friend.
Yeah,
oh my
sadly,
gosh. No, it's not. No, it is not.
No, it's
I
not.
believe.
F-Zero, never heard of it.
It only exists in Smash.
That is my.
I was about to say,
oh
isn't
my
Captain
gosh.
Falcon a guy in Smash?
Like that
It
is
only
my.
appears in
Keeping the
Smash.
dream alive.
Oh my god.
Punch.
If there's one thing, if I ever become like rich enough that I could just buy whatever, I am reviving that. It's the last thing I do. Yeah, that is like my.
You don't even have to be rich anymore. Just start a GoFundMe.
There we
Yeah,
go.
really.
Oh my god.
Start a GoFundMe to reboot Star Fox because it apparently died again.
What are you talking about?
my gosh.
They had a game and they were in Starlink as well.
It still died.
Oh man.
It's still
Hey,
died.
hey, there was. Remember Star Fox Adventures?
When did
Yeah, that
Starlink
game's
even
awesome.
come out? Like we
Starlink-
heard like a little bit
Oh my
about it,
gosh.
and then it just like disappeared after a while.
Star Fox Adventures. Oh my god. Don't. I could not.
But that game's awesome. What's wrong?
Oh my gosh, I could not. Going from Star Fox 64 to Star Fox Adventures.
But the game's
Okay,
awesome and well
okay.
made.
I don't
What's the
even
Okay,
know
problem?
okay,
what-
so yes, the game's awesome and well made. By the way, I can't even remember what the bug one was, but there was like some bug one on
Star Fox
N64.
Assault.
That was
No.
Assault.
Oh.
I mean, I'm talking a completely
Fox
different
2?
game. I just tangented way hard. Never mind.
Star Fox 2.
But the thing is, my point. Let me make this point, and then it might make sense where I was going there with that train of thought. But with Star Fox Adventures, it's a good game, but it's not Star Fox.
That lets you fly to R-Wing. What's the problem?
So
Yeah, for like
Like,
2 seconds.
Hey man, at least you get to fight stuff, but that's not what Star Fox, Assault's about. Like almost the final boss you fight. Spoilers for Star Fox Adventures, guys. And like in the final boss, you like fight with Falco and your R-Wing against the guy, and like, what do you mean? Like at least let you use it. I just got rid of that stupid
Okay.
dinosaur that's following around the entire game.
okay, that was. But
Kukreo Krozoa Palace, speaking dinosaur and all that good jazz.
But like, so the thing is that was really the problem with it. I mean, they wanted to do like I don't know where they decided to make Star Fox into like Zelda or something. I don't know what gave them the
tried.
idea.
They
I
tried their
think
damnedest.
I think it was supposed to be a separate IP that was made by Rare.
Supposedly, Crystal was
Well,
supposed
Rare
to
made all
be
the
main
games.
character,
Rare-
and they
well,
put
yes,
Fox
but-
into it or something like that.
Well, yeah, no. This is where I'm going at. Apparently, Star Fox Adventures was not like it wasn't originally going to be a Star Fox game. That's kind of where it all kind
It's
of.
gonna be Majora's Mask too. But
Oh my gosh!
So
By the way,
so
speaking of
really-
Rare,
It was supposed to be called Dinosaur Planet. That's what. It was
Yeah.
originally
oh
called.
gosh,
Mhm.
That's what it was originally called. It was called Dinosaur Planet or something to that effect. And you would have Crystal as the character. That was it. Like, it was no connection to Star Fox whatsoever at all. It
Which,
was
to
just,
be fair, even if it was good, probably would have failed just for that reason of everyone being
IPs
like,
are strong,
"Ooh."
man.
yeah, they
Like,
are.
fuck, let's put Fox in there. Yeehaw!
that's
And then-
essentially what it was. It's like, oh, just
Yeah.
slap Star Fox on it. It'll sell.
So that's pretty real.
Like, got me to buy the game.
But Rare, have you seen the new game Rare's doing or something like they showed off at the Xbox thing or whatever? Like
Mm.
it kind of
At least I can't
reminded
think of
me of that just a little bit. Just saying. Like I feel like this is what they were wanting to do. Maybe I don't know. I didn't really
Was
look
there
at the
a title?
game. There was something. They're doing something. It looked like they had some dinosaurs and stuff. It kind of looked like that game type
Star Fox
graphics
Adventure-
and
Star
Fox
stuff.
Adventures remastered.
Oh my gosh.
What if it turns it? What if it does turn into a remaster?
I mean, it's for Xbox, so like, I don't think I think we're going new IP
Hey,
here actually.
Fox is a rare property. Okay.
If it's literally called, like, I don't know what it's called actually. I just saw like the little like trailer playing in the background of some website, and I was like, and you see like the Rare thing zoom in and out, and I'm like, okay, so Rare's doing a thing that looks like dinosaurs and stuff. Cool.
You ever heard a joke that they call it rare because they rarely make games?
Ha,
That's
pretty
why there
much.
hasn't been another Star Fox yet. They're living up to their namesake.
Star Fox was made by specifically shit.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
My brain.
Shigeru Miyamoto.
Yeah.
Made
Well,
all the-
yes.
Made all the Nintendo games.
Yeah.
But
Nailed it.
I found it funny that like his whole inspiration of like the Legend of Zelda was his backyard.
Inspired by true stories.
but yeah,
So about that Gundam.
well, I was gonna say
Yeah.
about
This is a GBO2
about
podcast?
people's
What?
about people's weeks and stuff. Maniac, did you?
Yeah, how'd it go, Magnum?
Did you? Well, I was gonna ask Maniac real quick. Didn't you stream a few times this week? Like, what have you been
Yeah.
playing?
I've been trying to gun through Super Robot Wars.
There you go.
I've been trying to gun through it because I'm just like, I'm sitting here on it. I'm just like, I gotta gun through it. I don't even care if I don't unlock all the secrets. I just gotta gun through it. I threw that boy on easy mode and I'm like gunning it through.
Wow.
That's how far behind I am.
It might just be easier to play it on hard and to skip the SRs, man.
Actually, it actually is on hard mode because I'm like, there's no reason. I'd much rather get the stage done and move on. Oh gosh. I got up to the point where oh gosh, should I use
It's like those people who watch like anime or just regular shows at like twice speed and stuff like that to get through them faster.
Yeah. Well, I'm at the point where we're now in space again. But we now have Star Galgagar. Yay!
Woot.
Could boost. 3G is awesome.
Oh yeah.
Go.
I want Final
Have
as
you
an
seen Hangar,
HD.
Magnum?
Yeah.
Okay.
Final is amazing. I loved Galgagar Final. I want it back in SRW so bad. Okay, and enough with that tangent. We need to get back to the topic.
Okay, yeah. So as far as my week was, pretty much, some GBO2 and Death Stranding when I got to Death Stranding, and we finally got it done. So
Oh, you beat the
overall,
game?
yeah, it finished it last night at 4:15 a.m. or
I
something
didn't
like
say
that.
you were going for a hot minute yesterday.
Yeah, I was like, okay, we're finishing it tonight. We're doing it. And the thing is, it was one of those things like now that I'm done, I'm actually looking at some reviews and stuff. And some people were saying like the ending was like baiting at an ending, but then kept going and it's like ending number 2, ending number 3, ending. And I'm like, well, I didn't really feel that. So, like I was just like, okay, I feel like that was the thing that people who were like didn't like the gameplay and already had this mountain of salt because they've had to play like 50 hours through a game.
Delivery sim.
Yeah, and they didn't like the game, like the gameplay,
Assuming that
but
they
they wanted
really
to
had
see
to,
the
but-
story, and then they're trying to go through it to like do a review, right? So it's like, yeah, so I could see why they were like, oh, the story at the end, but yeah, it kept going, but it didn't feel like they were like, okay, you're done, but we're gonna continue, kind of thing. Like it didn't feel like anything like that. Like, but like I will say though, I was like, oh, cool, we're getting close to the end. 4 hours later, I think we're there.
What did you think about the whole issue being caused by Delale Lule Lo releasing Fox Die all across the world? That's what caused all the problems.
Like the okay, so I'm not gonna hit on any spoilers or anything, but like the Yeah.
Don't tell me there's actually a Lale Lulelo kind of faction in there.
I hope not.
I swear
No,
to God.
no. But like the So, by the way, the other story, which the story continues, that there is kind of like a way that they continue on the gameplay and stuff. So it's kind
Game
of
Plus.
cool that they don't have a new game plus. I
It just
that's not
continues
really a
after the
spoiler,
story's
but you
over.
kind of do like a well, I can't really go into it without actually spoiling
There's post game
something.
content.
But
Gotcha.
yeah, post game
So
content.
kind of like how Fallout 3 with their DLC was. Like how after you finish the story, you can still
Well,
continue onward.
I mean, most of the open world games where they try to let you continue on
Right.
playing, you can
I would
continue
say
on
3
playing.
initially just had you fucking die at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
And it wasn't until Broken Steel came out. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
you know what? That's stupid. Let's actually
Yep.
get rid of that.
so now there is actually and the funny thing is they actually named the chapter a chapter. So like only this chapter is now renamed to Must Repair Truck-kun. So if I find a way to repair Truck-kun, like Truck-kun is dying of truck cancer, and I've got to find a way to save Truck-kun
Gotta
still.
find a cure.
So
Just remember,
that
you
is
gave him truck cancer.
it was not me.
Sure. Let's
Put him through that
clear
rain
this
and
Oh,
no
God.
him until he got cancer.
Like
Yeah, no mysterious force at work here. It was all Magnum.
oh my gosh, it was me and my factory of new
Like, that's
type,
the
my
ultimate
new type
revelation.
factory.
Your new
Yeah,
type
you just-
factory.
Truck cancer is caused by running into rocks. You just need to replace the radiator, Magnum.
But that's the thing, you can't. There's no way to repair those kind of trucks, I don't think. So
He's not
unless
trying hard enough.
yeah, I know, right?
Oh,
So that's what I'm gonna be doing. So if there's any more content that I do on that, is when like I'm like laying down playing, and all of a sudden I'm like, I can finally fix Truck-kun, yes. And then so the
It's
next
like a-
stream, the
Why
next
can't it
stream will
be
just
fixed,
show
though?
up on
Like,
this
is it
schedule.
because it was from those is it because it's those ones that the terrorists use? Or
Yeah, I
'cause-
think it's just one of those trucks, and so you just
Okay.
can't repair it. So, but there is still an ongoing story, and it's a to be continued right now. Insert JoJo reference right now.
we
But
need to get that on a button.
but anyway, the yeah, seriously though. Oh, by the way, speaking of button, I do have the sound file. I need to remind me somewhere on Discord to link you guys that from the last.
Oh, that's right.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I finally took the time to clip that. But anyway, overall though, the game, I would say to everybody needs to at least check out the story. If you want to watch someone's playthrough, cool. There's a playthrough probably somewhere. I'm gonna try to put mine up on YouTube. I do have my VODs already kind of singled out, so there's that. But like, find either someone's playthrough, watch that, or if you want just the story, just the cutscenes, there's an 11-hour video on YouTube that is all the cutscenes.
11 hours of cutscenes?
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah, no,
cow.
literally, like there at the end, it was just kind of like, okay, guys, I think this is the one that everybody was talking about. Let's get out the popcorn and relax. So I just kicked back, held the controller, and just watched, because it was like literally an hour plus of just like cutscene type stuff. And yeah, so that was pretty much like, at that point it was like 1 a.m. and then by the time that was done it was like 3, and I was like, okay, and for real, there was like 2 hours of cutscenes. But yeah, so the story, I think everybody needs to check it out. Really well done, very well like made. Like some characters had some weird lines. There's definitely some cringe stuff. I don't think it's really a big spoiler, so I'm gonna say one of the lines just because it's based on a character. Her name's Fragile, and she goes, "I may be fragile, but I'm not fragile."
I'm never gonna play this game now.
And it's like
Ruined.
wow, that is a super cringe line.
What is that
Only
even
the-
supposed to be in reference to?
Well, I mean, that's the
That's a
thing. If I
dad
if I
joke.
other than her-
if I say that, then it could be spoilers. So
Oh, okay.
trying to stay
it's a dad
spoiler free.
joke.
That's just what she says, and it's just like, this is so cringe. And the thing is, then she starts like, that's my catchphrase now, essentially. And I think she ended up saying it like 5 times before the end of the game, and I'm just like,
That
please
sucks.
stop, please.
It's not
like-
even like dad joke level. It's just probably something in universe, and it's like, no one's gonna get this.
And it's just it was just so yeah, it's so cringe. But other than a few bad lines, Like, there's some amazing acting going on in a lot of points. Like, there is some cool stuff. I would say that they do try to force emotions. So, like, oh my gosh, this person's crying right now. There's tears. You should be sad by watching this cutscene. You know, and it feels like there is some forced stuff. But overall, like, story, 10 out of 10, 12 out of 10. You know, it's really high. All I'm saying. Gameplay, if it's not your thing, that's why I say at least watch it, because the gameplay is definitely not for everyone. I had fun with it. I love it. But it's really cool seeing your infrastructure that you build. Like what I was doing off stream and just building and doing all the, like, okay, I'm going to take my truck over here, build this road. Now take it over here, build this road. Now take it over here,
Did you take
build
Truck
this.
Coon?
No, Truck-Coon's parked in a hospital facility at this point. Like, if Truck-Coon moves 2 inches, Truck-Coon's gonna explode.
It's just gonna explode.
No, literally,
Yeah.
trucks straight up go if they deteriorate enough. So, yeah, Truck-Coon's waiting for repair at this point. And but yeah, as you build infrastructure and you see other people's, and you can connect with other people's, and then you have, you know, this entire, you know, you can just zip line from point to point and just be all the way across the map if you take the time to build it. And so it's really cool. Like, that's really awesome. But again, gameplay is not for everybody. So yeah, that's
So
pretty much all
your
I've been
message
doing.
for Fortnite players going into Death Stranding is just build.
Yeah, there you go.
Gotcha. Just build, forehead. Got it. Because, you know, you got to use, you can't think of, we have to get out of our boomer mindset and think like the young kids. So that's how you get them in there. Yeah, you can build in Death Stranding. It's just like Fortnite.
Oh my gosh.
Well played. But yeah, that was my week. Pretty
Yeah,
much,
there you go.
it's almost been 2 weeks now. It's nothing but Death Stranding.
I bet you it helped a little
And
bit just to have that aspect in there, though.
that furnace, there we go. There we go. That's a good transition.
It's like the start of the podcast. Don't worry, we'll have a timestamp in the comment or in the description so you can skip the hour introduction, guys.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I'm going to mark this so that I check the video at some
Yeah,
point.
we actually are really close too. Holy shit.
Because I think it's funny every time you're like, this will be in the description, or when somebody's like, this will be in the description, I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably remember to do that. But anyway, so yeah, new suits. Yeah, this is a GBO2 podcast. Hey, that was just
battle operation.
we were just talking about the week before, guys. No big deal. So yeah, do we want to just start with the Type B, or do we want to talk about the side suits that they added? Like the
What about we do the banner suit first, and then we'll go into the side suits.
Okay.
Sounds
Well,
good.
the thing with the Type B, I do want to talk a big discussion about what I think it kind of is starting a trend with. That I think we've already had one suit that does it, but other than that, did anybody get it?
I got it.
Okay. Well, I got to play it because of course every suit that I want, a friend of mine gets. So I've not got it yet, but I think it's OP. I think it's pretty
Looks
insane.
good.
But what do you think of it, Gustav?
It's another full armor. I mean, it can be devastating. There's a lot of potential in its weapons. I haven't really gelled with it too well, but I can see where a lot of people can be able to like control their space and have a lot of options with it. Like the missile on it has a hard stagger. The smaller missile pod is just kind of intimidating when you see a wave of them just get barfed at you. The beam rifle on it is as intimidating as it does have a fair amount of output, and it can shoot a little bit more than the regular full armor. The cannon is just a cannon.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing else for me to really say about that other than it works. It's definitely something you're probably going to be leaning on still to set up for your other weapons. I think the fact that it has 2 beam sabers on it's kind of goofy and just something they did more for looks than like function.
Yeah,
just
I
to differentiate it a bit more, but it's neat.
wanted to test out the, like, in a little thing practice match just to see if there was actually much of a damage difference or anything. But
Yeah, like
it's
it
just
doesn't
kinda
seem
cool.
like it hits twice unless they're just really close together, but like I don't think so. Pretty sure.
But the combo that because I played it a couple of games,
Mhm.
and the combo that I kind of went with was if I can hit the hard stagger, then I switch to the beam, shoot the beam into them, then cannon to missiles. So instead of doing cannon to beam like you normally would with the full armor, I think your real play, unless you're fighting a general type in front of you that's probably going to dodge roll, is cannon to missiles, and then you do cannon to beam if you think they're going to dodge roll. Because the thing is, the beam has a ready up bar, unlike the full armor's beam, where you just cannon and then you're pretty much already shooting the beam at them when you switch.
It's a little bit slower.
You do get a fourth shot if you really want to just overheat it. You can shoot it 4 times instead of just 3 for the overheat. I think its power is a little bit less though. I mean, that would make sense. But I mean, if you get all 4 shots off, it's more damage than the full armor.
It depreciates damage per shot?
Well, no. Like what I'm saying is like overall, like if you had the full armor standing next to it, then the full armor, I think, per shot has more damage. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So, but I think overall, the Type B, if you get all 4 shots into somebody, that's more damage overall than the full armor, just standard. I mean, it pretty much has the same stats as the full armor, which is kind of interesting. It's just literally 500 cost full armor with the way the beam works different, and it has more options for weapons. And then if you can,
it helps that it starts at 500 at least.
Yeah. So then, which that's another point I was gonna make as far as my complaint with the whole thing. But like the missile is a hard stagger. It makes somebody take a knee. Thing is though, is it is slow. Like the missile is just like it's like fire.
It's a
You're
missile.
like boom. Okay, it's coming at you. Don't worry, it's gonna get there. It's gonna get there. If you're in a Zommel, you can almost sidestep it. But that's speaking of Zommel though. I got to play against a Zommel, and I was just like, if I hit them with that missile, then I'm like, shoot the 4 beams, then cannon, then missile barrage, then cannon again. I mean, it's dead. Like it just destroys things that it can just sit there and well on. And then then I'm just like, okay, then downswing with the double beam shield saber thing. Only not shield, but whatever.
I will say that's the one thing that this suit has an issue with, though, is that yes, it has a lot more options. It does by default have more output because of that. It's still a support suit and it's still slow as fuck.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much a full armor. I mean, with just more options, and that's kind of my problem with it actually. Like, I feel because you still have the missiles, you still have a combo, right? You still, and the missiles have an ASL, by the way. That's where they introduced the ASL.
That's the cool thing.
And
like that.
What was the other suit that they gave an ASL to? Anybody remember?
What was it for? Like weapon wise?
I mean, it was another missile. Right? It was another missile for another suit, but they gave the missiles ASL. Oh, the big gun on the rabbit type, and that's my problem. That's what I wanted to point out. So I think the rabbit type set precedence for this, but I think it was fine.
Range too.
Oh yeah, they increased the range. Yeah, that's actually pretty nice now. But like, my big issue with the full armor Type B is it's just a better, in my opinion, it's just a straight up better full armor. So if you were playing 450, full armor, cool. If you're going to use it, then yeah, there you go. But if you're at 500, there's no reason to use a full armor level 2 because it's pretty much the same stats, but you got more options and overall better. Like you still got a combo, so you still got the base stuff, and I think it's just overall better suit. Like I don't see a reason to
power creep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the thing is though, it's literally a replacement suit. It's literally the same thing, but it's a replacement. And looking at what they've done with the buffs to the rabbit type, it's now literally better than the Zaku cannon. Like you've got health that's pretty much comparable now. Before it was like 500 less. They added 500 health. You've got extra options, and now it has ASL, so it's easy to use. I'm just saying.
Has a shield.
And it has a shield. So now you have comparable health with the shield. What? When did they start doing that?
Because I thought that was going to be the trade-off at least.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, it's a more defensive option that has, a couple extra things. So the damage is going to be a little bit lower because, it's a level 1 and a 2 instead of a level 4 and 5. Okay, well, that's a good trade-off. But now it's just like, looking at it stat-wise on paper, it just looks 100% better than a level 4 or 5 Zaku cannon. So it's like, you use level 3 Zaku Cannon, then you're going to switch to the Rabbit type if you were going to use that suit at 250 or 300. And that's
Just so
kind of my
everyone
point.
knows, the issue here is that Magnum's going to have to update his channel emote to be the Rabbit type Zaku Cannon. That's the actual problem.
And like
that's the actual problem.
The bigger difference too is just that
Just got
the
approved.
Rabbit type was a secret suit or just like a side suit that they threw in there.
Mhm.
This is a banner suit, and it's a banner suit that a lot of people have actually gotten, much like the GPO4 when it dropped. So because it's more common, it's gonna more readily replace the regular full armor. You know, like you still see your fair amount of Rabbit types, but it's still a little surprising when you see it just because of that extra rarity. Because I don't think it had an increased rate. It was just another extra something you could possibly get during that, that update.
So, I mean, what do you guys think of that precedent, though, that they're kind of setting here with, like, just making a better version of the suit, like, one cost higher, and it kind of pretty much just being a replacement for it?
I kind of wonder, I don't know. I think it's been coming, if it hasn't already kind of come for a while now. I mean, they've kind of already been doing it, haven't they?
I mean, obviously there's a meta kind of thing, of course. You know, like when an A suit comes out and it's better than another suit and it plays kind of like it. But like this just to me feels like, I mean, technically it's a different suit, but it feels like they just literally came out with the same suit again, only it's better. So here you go, spend more money kind of thing if you want to take it that route. But it's kind of like.
Well, it's like the Kamorph is a safer Zuda in some ways, just because it can run the anti-ship rifle, or like the GM Kai isn't super great compared to the Command, unless it's just what you have at the time. There are other suits that kind of fit that.
But I mean, they're
but I think
different
this is
suits.
just more. This is just more blatant. I think that's the bigger thing.
Like that's my problem with it.
Is it just because they had the same name tag?
I mean, they're literally like the same suit, though. It's just a slight variation of the same suit.
Well, I think
their suits at different costs, though. I mean, it's a higher cost for a reason at base level.
I mean, we have a level 2 though, full armor though, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like,
well, yeah,
but if you have
I think it would be more egregious if we didn't have 500
500
lobbies, though.
It'd be I don't know. Like, I guess right now, like maybe I kind of see it as like, let's just use a different example. You're mad, like you don't like that the Easy 8 is, you know, putting the powered, or not the power jam. You like that the Easy 8's putting the GM Command out because, you know, they have a different name tag, but I mean, at the end of the day, they're both Blue suits, but the Easy 8's, I don't know, objectively better because it has better melee priority and a downs and like a really powerful downswing. But I mean, they both do the same stuff. Like you could, outside of like assuming you own all the suits, like is that sample kind of the same thing, or do you think it's different?
Well, here's where I kind of draw the difference here, because that's more of a meta thing, and that's why I kind of said there is a meta, right?
But, I mean, I don't see how the meta factors into that example.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, you're going to use the better suit, right? So my thing is, I mean, here, if you're trying to be on a more, if you're looking at it from more of a competitive stance, in that sense of like, okay, this suit's better, so it's kind of replacing this other suit, and you know that's probably what you're going to be using. But if you're looking at it from more of like kind of a casual sense, is kind of what I'm looking at here, because really the full armor isn't the better suit at that cost. Like, I'd probably, even at 500, I would say probably the Dom Barrage, the Jaeger.
I'd say the Jaeger's
Mudrock level 2. Is there level 2 Mudrock?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mudrock level 2. I mean, Mudrock is pretty much a better full armor. Oh, and then the skills that check your skills. The skills that the full armor type E has. You're pretty much, you got the explosive thing. So if somebody cannons right next to you, you're just like, okay.
No, it's explosive reactive armor.
Bang, you know, yeah, no big deal. So like, it's got a lot of stuff. It's got more skills and more options than the full armor. It's like, in my opinion, every way better than the full armor. Like, so again, I think in that point, it's literally kind of the same suit. Looking at it, so if somebody's looking at it from like a casual standpoint, if somebody's like, oh, cool, I want this suit. Wait, I already got this full armor 500 one, but this one's the same thing, but twice as good. And you know, that's kind of my problem with it. Now, looking at it as competitive, I'd probably be like, use the Mudrock or use the Dom Barrage or use the Jaeger or something like that at that cost. But
Yeah, I mean, I would feel you if they both were base 450, but I feel like because it's base 500, that's why the suit's better. I mean, I get what you're saying, but like that's why the level 1's 500. I know it's only a 50-point difference, but
Well, and they
and
also use the
honestly,
same
like,
stats.
this could go into them needing to do like I Concho in chat saying that they probably should have made it higher. Like he's probably right. Maybe it should have been 550 instead of 500. But like I think the idea that they had was that it's a higher base level suit, and that's why it has better performance. But I think that kind of comes down to Battle Ops' inherent problem of skill and stat scaling. Well, maybe not stat scaling rather, but like skill scaling and like stuff like that is always really rough.
It's also just the idea that like the kind of gameplay and pacing that it has, people are still gonna rock it in unrestricted, don't get me wrong, but it's gonna have a hard time if it runs into a Stardust crew.
Oh yeah.
Compared to like the Jaeger or the Madrock.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's definitely
they're
a
like,
500.
well, we have the 500 lobby now, so this is just a safe bet for that, and we still want to fill that out. Not to mention, I don't think the cry for higher level supports has dulled yet, so this just continues to try to fill that niche. Whether it does it well or if it excludes other suits aside, I think that was the bigger attempt with this one.
Well,
yeah,
there was something I was gonna kind of chime in with that. More so of like, why does it? I think it's more of back when the G3 in the first game came out. It came out as a general type. The G3 was a general type in the first game, and it was essentially a better version of the Gundam.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even more as it was.
So right. So what I'm looking at it here is it's the G3 thing from the first game, but it's just being a full armor in this one. If it makes any sense, it's the same idea, but just in a full armor look. So it's 2 full armors, essentially at the same cost level, but it's just a different unit.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean it's the Type B, but that's the thing. I mean, we're going to run into this a lot the farther they get into the game.
Yeah,
because anytime there's a new
the
iteration,
G3 was a little bit easier for them to differentiate for 2, just because it did have that magnetic coating and because it could be posed as being more aggressive. So they're like, yeah, we'll switch that, and especially since they are scaling up the Grandpa Gundam no matter what, I wonder if they're gonna go into it for 600.
Oh, of course.
So, like,
Stay relevant.
They knew it was always gonna be around, so relegating the G3 to a raid and giving it more priority while also giving it like the double bazookas, which are cool. It's neat that that's like one of the first suits that rocked something like that. Hopefully I don't know. Do people tend to run that a little bit more than anything else?
G3?
In terms of other options at raid, like has it been outclassed by other
I've rarely
things?
seen a G3.
In terms of like 550, you're seeing GP units. 500, you got.
I think 500 has found a better home at.
Well, even
Maniac, how can you say that? G3 is so high on your tier list.
I love the G3. I use the G3 all the time. What I'm saying is that from what I've noticed, from what I've noticed, I've seen a lot more of like BD2s. Let's see here.
G-Line Assault or
G-Line Assault. I've seen more Gelgoog Marines.
I'm actually kind of glad for that because that is a neat suit.
Yeah, Marines are great, but I was just surprised that like out of all the suits, just thrown into a 500.
You know what suit's making a comeback in 500 and I'm surprised and kind of delighted by is the Gian.
Yeah.
I'm actually really surprised by that.
Like,
and it's fair because that saber is fucking horrifying.
Yes.
Holy shit. But like I think the fact that they have a comfortable spot to put the higher level one where it won't get melted by Stardust and Pals, essentially.
Right.
People are
Pals.
is just brought everyone who's ever been eager to like give it a shot or to just get in there with the weapons they've accumulated over time, and it just gave them that moment. Because we've actually had some interesting, like even ace matches where they become the ace and they actually do really well.
Yeah,
They need to make that shield a shield, though. Just saying.
They do.
they
I don't know what they're waiting for.
Like,
It's so goofy that it's not yet.
I'm like, I kind of have to double take at it though. Just be like, oh yeah, that's right. It's not a shield. Missile barrage, go.
Just hit him. Just another big hitbox. On
Yeah,
his stupid
like that's my thing with it, like that or the G3 is the Gan. Now the Gan I'm scared of when it gets to you, but until then I'm not really afraid of it. And then the G3 as a support player perspective, like both of those suits are definitely on my like, oh, that's a G3 over there. Okay, I'll focus on this general. I mean, he can get to me eventually. G3 will be fine. I'll deal with him when he gets over here. But then like
he'll be annoying with those stuns or if he charges up his missile, but like he's only got one saber. His melee isn't super hot, so it's like, meh.
yeah. So I'll focus something else.
I don't understand why the G3 has a 2-swing. It baffles me.
It's because it's a general.
It is. It's a balanced.
Yeah.
It's a balanced raid, and I'm just like, but why no?
That makes it even more baffling that they made it balanced too.
Yeah, that's the funny
And
thing.
just didn't make it full aggro.
Right. All of its stats are pretty balanced, including.
I think I think it's because it's the Gundam. You know, it's like Mario and like Smash or whatever. Insert game here. It's just like the titular like protagonist character.
It gets into that idea of like
whatever.
Is there anything you would consider to be a safe raid though?
Hell no.
When we talk about there being like, yeah, exactly. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
wait, the GOG.
Like when I think about balanced suits, it's usually because they're able to be played safe and they can like kind of spread themselves across the battlefield in different situations. But making something that's supposed to be that specialized by its class as a raid, regardless of what it is, or the fact that it's just supposed to be an improved version of, like, say, the Gundam or something like that. I think that's where you had to forego, like, lore and iconic, like, nature and just be like, nah, this just has to be a lot more aggressive. Like, amp it up on the melee or, like, make it even faster or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be ranged, I guess.
Yeah,
because you have so much stuff on it that you can run.
Right. By its default stats, it heavily looks like it's for ranged by default stats, but by the part slots, on the other hand,
doesn't make
there is sense. Right.
I think that's also the mentality that they. Though, I was gonna say the Barrage did that, and a couple like the CD kind of does it. I think I forget. I had to look at the part slots.
Cold Districts is kind of more ranged.
They kind of were a bit more lenient on that.
Yeah,
like it wasn't too bad, but like there are other suits that do that. I kind of understand it, and yet at the same time, it's like, especially for MGs, I wish they'd be a little bit more lenient with that, because like it's nice if you can actually hose them down for all of it.
Yeah.
More often than not, just because of the way matches go, that's probably not going to happen. So the thing you're trying to avoid just isn't really a scenario here.
But as far as the other new suits, though, what do you guys think about them adding a level 4 power GM and a level? Isn't a level 4 Tropin as well?
Tropin empowered. Tropin is great.
I want that so.
I haven't gotten it yet, but like by the stats of it, oh my gosh!
I haven't gotten it yet, but seeing it zoom around and harass me and everyone else on my team, like, fuck off.
Do you know what's crazy? Do you know what's crazy? The first time I realized there was a 500 cost Tropin was I was in an unrestricted match, so Stardust memory. So I'm just walking around in my GBO2, and I'm like, why is there a Tropin on the field? So like I turn around,
grossly undercut.
Like then I just blast him, and I'm like, that didn't take much damage.
And then he just like Sternfaust you and missiles you and everything, and
pop the Sternfaust,
Sternfaust pull open his trench coat, full shebang.
All you hear is just like a maniac in the background. What happened?
And then all of a sudden, and I got killed by it too, and I'm like, okay, so why did he bring a level 3? And I looked at it level 4, and I'm like, excuse me?
Yeah, like
level 4. What?
I am glad that people have been embracing it though. Like that is a really aggressive suit, and the fact that people are starting to like come to a higher appreciation of like having MGs as sub weapons and stuff. Like, I like that it's out there. I wish I had it. It's probably
yeah,
gonna
that's
be
a
a
suit
while
I
until I
want.
have, but I really do want to mess
Yeah.
with that.
That's a general type I can definitely play. It's got
Well,
a
do
lot
you
of
know
pew
what-
pews.
Do you know what's really funny though? Is like I remember when the 450 version was brand new. Like I still think the 450 version is brand new, but now they're like, oh yeah, there's a 500, and I'm like, what?
It's like, okay, boomer.
Yep. Welcome to Boomer Moments.
Oh,
Oh
man.
my.
So what do we think about the power gem though?
I probably won't use either of the two
There
suits,
is a gym.
by the way.
I mean,
Jump and shoot GM. There you go. We got another level.
Jump shoot.
it's a good ranged suit. It's just like there's other suits to pick. That's
I was
the
gonna say,
issue.
like, every time I think about the power GM, it's like it's good. It's definitely gonna get you there. I think about people who haven't been on the game as long, right? Or who didn't get the bonus suits when this first dropped,
Mhm.
and getting lucky enough to get something like a power GM or something that's actually gonna carry them through a lot of matches. Like, I feel like
Right.
suits like that are more for those kind of players
Mhm.
who just haven't been around for a billion years to accumulate bullshit.
Well, and then also if they can't whale in the game either.
Yeah, if they're not making if they're not intensifying the whale noises in the background.
Fucking wells. So many
As they
wells
just, like,
in
barf
Death
out money.
Stranding. Just
Oh
saying.
my god.
So many wells.
Plunder them for their money. But yeah, I
But
feel like that's what stuff like the Power GM or like even the Tropin, like just extra additional certain suits. It's definitely nice. Like I can appreciate that they update stuff like that.
actually one of the ones that I feel isn't that good, and I wonder if the power GM kind of hits the same situation, is the armor GM. The level 4 that they put in of the armor GM.
What does that put it at?
400 cost.
Ooh.
So wait, is it 400?
I don't
Because it was 250, 300, 350, 400. Yeah, 400. Yeah.
Okay.
So the thing is though, I feel like it's a little outclassed at 400, and I don't think it has the damage to kind of keep up with everything else that kind of is introduced at 400.
Yeah. I mean it has to compete with a lot of Scooty types at that point too. Like it's not
Yeah.
the only boy on the block that does it.
Well, and then it also has the explosive resistance or reactive armor or whatever, so that you can't stagger it with just a cannon shot beside of it. So that's one of the big. That's its big gimmick is it has that. So you still get to use that as a thing, but
You have a lot of other heavy weapons at that cost.
and then you've got beams coming in at that point too. So it's like,
and then you had the barrage ruining your life.
yeah. So I don't care about hitting you with a like cannon to the side. I'm gonna just hit you with this beam and then melt you with missiles. Have fun. But so do we want to get into the old suits from GBO1?
Sure, why not?
Sure.
Because like I kind of wanted to. This is kind of why I was wanting to save the Type B for a little later, just because I feel like we're gonna see a lot of this when we start bringing a lot of stuff in. If they're not separated by a decent amount of cost, like I feel like that's gonna be a feeling that a lot of people are gonna run into.
Mhm.
So
I forgot to actually open that up, so I'm gonna go get it real quick.
Yeah, I'm currently trying to get it up on my laptop here.
I fucked up. Here it is.
But,
Okay, I got it.
So, as far as what I understand, and because I definitely didn't play this one, but did they have they had suits that were just because you had to play one side or the other.
Correct.
Yep,
So
Federation versus
what
Xeon.
Yeah.
what they
so,
did was what they did was is that when it came for suits, most of them were mirrored.
Yeah. So there was a lot
So-
of just
yeah.
like probably the
Federation
best
versus
example we've
GM.
got is like GM Cannon and Zaku Cannon. They're pretty much
Mhm.
exactly the same stats until now, or until recently. But they have one, just one had a shield in the sense. So was that kind of the same thing? Did they? I mean, I'm guessing they had that one.
Yeah. One of them. Well, there's this particular suit that I wanted to bring up. And something that I've noticed from the last couple of updates on GBO2, when they fixed up the text, one of the suits, the ground gem, how it specifically said, 8th MS team.
Yeah.
I think they're getting ready to bring in the weapons rack. Because
Yes.
So what's the Easy 8 weapons rack?
no, the ground gem.
Both of them had a weapons rack variant.
Right. The ground gem had a weapons rack variant first game, and so I'm gonna guess either it's going to be a background suit or it's going to be tickets. I don't think it'll be a particular
Whoa.
banner.
Okay,
So
I'm looking at one.
Hmm.
It's the full armor slave wraith.
Yes, now full armor slave wraith.
Full
Full armor slave wraith.
Well, real quick though, before we jump into shiny toys, do you think the world record ground GM would just be a low cost?
Oh yeah,
version
definitely.
of the world record Gundam, essentially?
I think it's going to start off at 200. I do not think they're going to pull the BS of 150, where the ground gym first started. I think it's going to start off at 200. Or 250. 200 to 250.
So it has a lot to butt heads with at that cost.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're talking about the heavy arms, command type,
Yeah.
both sniper. Well, not both sniper, just the GM, I guess. So would you think they would still put it as a support?
Oh yeah,
I
it's
think
going
they
to be
might change it as a general just for shits, but like
I think they're going to specifically make it a support type because
It'll be a raid.
that would be hilarious. And I want
If it's at 200, they need to raid for real.
I want to see its walking speed. I would probably start running with that cannon.
Like give it its regular movement speed, because like the ground GM in particular is not super duper fast, right? Like I could see it still moving like that. Just give it a lighter pack, or just give it the cannon by itself,
right?
Or like, and I know they'll never do it because it's a little too layered, but have it drop the pack at it to a certain point and just have it all ass and get a speed boost from that.
Right. Another one is the gun cannon spray missile launcher.
Oh yeah, the missile arrays that they gave them.
Yeah, so basically, instead of the cannons, it had like these two missile launchers that had like kind of like little launchers around it, kind of like a nose cone type of thing.
That's pretty
very neat.
Yeah, so that's an interesting one. I would like to see it. Now I can see it coming in.
Well,
it would probably come in at 400 with the gun cannon too. I honestly think that's a 400 if and when it gets put into the game.
I could imagine it being the same cost as the regular cannon, but just put in as a side suit.
I
so it just has like an increased rarity, kind of like the rabbit type and stuff like that. I don't know if they would boost its skills or like stats, because I don't think by the time that it got that, I think that was just a variant. I don't think they updated it in the show when it got that for a little bit.
I could see it coming soon. Because if it has like the spray missiles, then it would be they just put in that ASL.
Right.
That'd be really cool. I'm down with that.
I could see this thing coming soon with that being a mechanic that they just introduced.
Now, another one that I actually learned from Maelstrom, the full armor ground Gundam. So there is a full armor ground Gundam. I would really like to see that. Now I'm not sure if it would be labeled. Oh yeah, it would definitely be a. Now it's not.
It's a general in the last game, which is interesting.
This is those North American ones they were doing.
Is that the North America type?
Yeah, it is. Well,
It's equivalent to it, but it's not exactly. But like the basic form factor's kind of there.
So essentially, it's an RX-78. It's not an RX-79. It's an RX-78. So it's not a ground Gundam. It's a Gundam
For the ground.
for the ground. It's not the ground Gundam. It's a Gundam on
For the
ground. Because
according to the wiki, it's pretty much just like a full armor prototype Gundam.
Yeah.
So I could see that as a 400 cost suit.
Or even
to
a
be on
350.
par with-
Real talk, I do want the North America type. Like since I
yeah.
brought that up, like that'd be really cool. Anyway,
I wonder if they do.
Ooh,
Real quick on the full armor.
Yeah, go ahead.
I wonder if they would actually do that as like a 350.
I mean,
I think
it would be interesting. It'd be like a stripped down. Well, not really, because it's a full armor, so it wouldn't be stripped down.
well,
I mean,
it
we've
would
already
still
got
be a
the
support,
cavalry.
so it's not going to be as aggro as the prototype or anything like that, right?
But I feel like we're getting some stuff introduced at 350 that's really shifting the gameplay of it. So this looks like it's a pretty powerful suit that probably belongs in 400. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But I could see them doing some of their craziness and throwing it in 350 because I feel like 350, as far as like speed or whatever you want to call it, is actually getting increased because of things
I
like
mean,
the
you already have the
introduction of the
BD1,
cavalry.
which is fast as fuck.
And then
Right.
then they just
And
buffed
then
the BD
Noct
one.
zooms around.
And then there's
Yeah.
the knocked, yeah. So I mean, like, if we can bump up the speed of stuff like support and general, which cavalry kind of does that. Which I mean, there's already some strong general types anyway. But like,
I feel like that would be like a bigger update / overhaul for support as like a class after a certain cost.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm surprised we haven't actually had a specific
Like bullet point for that.
like. Well, I'm surprised that they didn't really like in the game. I'm surprised they didn't really specify. Hey, you know, this is like a frontline support. Hey, this is a backline support. This is a mid-tier type of thing. Like the game never specifies what support type fits what category. They just like here's the weapons, here's the skills. You figure it out.
Yeah.
well, I mean,
'Cause
I
the
think
bigger
that's
thing
good
that
for
most people are
Like game
concerned
develop,
about is,
game
like,
growth though.
yeah. I think that's
Yeah.
good. They don't need to kind of just shove it into a role like. I just to touch on a different game. I like how League of Legends is kind of going back to their roots and being like play whatever anywhere because like back in not even season 1, before season 1 was technically called season 1, or I guess maybe that was between beta and season 1, whatever. It was the Wild West, man, of whatever you were playing. Like you'd have ADCs in mid lane, and that was a way to play, not really even a meta at that point. And it was,
Well, that's
it
the
was
thing
really
too,
cool.
right? Like the player meta will still dictate that all the time. It's just how much effort they're gonna put into discussion
Yeah.
from suit or character. Because yeah, I know they do that whenever they introduce a character. They're like, these are the moves. This is like the suggested usage for this character, and in these situations per move.
Yeah. So like even but back to kind of GBO2, like the snipers, I think a lot of snipers, there's a time to play like a sniper, and that's during the beginning of the game. But depending on how the game shifts toward the mid part of the game, you either need to continue doing what you're doing because you're winning, you can stay back, hopefully your team doesn't YOLO too much, or you need to move up and start getting a little more aggro. And I mean, you have, like, just looking at the GM sniper, you have grenades. So it's like, you're never going to use that way back there in the back, and you can definitely play mid-range with that suit, and you can get up and leg people and a few other things. So
You're talking about my plot's Kobe
you never
Bryant.
tried to, I was gonna say you never tried to Kobe hose with that shit.
oh, I don't know, man. I got a great clip with Kobe and like over a mountain with a grenade, dude. So yeah, no, and I get the Kobe grenades, but
I get you though, because like even the heavy weapons, I'll use with the MMP80 and just rock those missiles on occasion. It's almost like happy birthday, you got me to this point, and you'll get some extra damage for it. But when your main gun is doing like 200 plus per shot, like other stuff is a little bit of an afterthought. You're just waiting for the next reload at that point.
pretty much.
Just one little thought too. I was looking at the full armor ground Gundams setup. Do you think you could see it being like somewhat similar in feel to how the G-Line Assault plays right now?
I was gonna say because it's based on the prototype Gundam, so that's kind of an interesting twist on that too.
Because I mean, it has the cannon.
It's got a missile spray on it.
Yeah, the missile cannon could be like maybe the same kind of like the shotgun. And then you have the Vulcan's beam saber, stuff like that. And if it's a general like it was in the last game, it could be pretty similar to that kind of suit.
I think that would be a good thing for that suit in general. Is just for the love of God, don't make it a support. Just make it something different.
I mean,
really
I know I want more supports, but like
especially since it has like a dual beam rifle too. So like in line with the G-Line Assault, like you can hit a couple subsequent shots with that, and eventually it'll stun. But you're doing it more so just to stack with other people and for the damage.
Kind of the funny thought I had in my head there though when Emblem was saying that, I was just like, when he was like, yeah, it kind of reminds me of the G-Line Assault, right? Yeah, so it could be a raid. We need more raids, right? I was just like,
get that raid life.
I was just like, go on. I'll like call you out on like we need more raids. Then I'll be like, we need more supports, and then you could just be like, oh yeah, says the support guy.
No, I was looking at it in the eyes of it being a general in the last game.
Oh, okay. That would be kind of interesting to see it as a general.
I could kind of see it being forced over as maybe a support or a raid, instead of it being a general again. Like, especially since they kind of seem to be going in a direction where generals are general, and raids and supports are more like specialized, and that's obviously not always the case. The Gashia comes to mind, just to name like a few oddball generals, but it seems like they don't really have that kind of play in mind with those types of suits.
Or like the White Dingo Sniper 2, shit like that.
Yeah,
they still
Sniper
do
2,
it, but it feels fewer and far between.
Gyagu VG would be a good comparison to this.
Or maybe I just don't play
it's interesting because a lot of generals just feel like safer raids once you get up to the higher cost too.
Yeah.
Also, the other thing where I was kind of saying it would be interesting if they pulled it down to a 350 is it is a thing with beams. So seeing it, I could, like I said, I could see it as a 400 for sure. But it would be really interesting if they pulled it. Yeah, like I don't think it's too much of a reach.
But if it was a 350, I would say it would have to be like, I think they would try to keep it as a support. Or if they did, it would probably be as a raid. I don't think they'd stick it as a general at that point because it has so much stuff on it.
Missile launcher is really interesting though. When you pointed that out, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
Missile launcher, rocket
G-Line
cannon,
Assault plus
dual beam rifles, like holy shit, and Vulcans on top of that. I don't know if they would actually mount the sabers on its arm, but I think that's kind of neat. They just smack them on there.
Oh yeah, those are the sabers on the. Okay. Is that? So does it use 2 beam sabers?
Possibly.
I mean, think about the normal.
If they made it a raid, that'd be cool if they.
Because I'm looking. Well, see, here's the thing. If it is a raid, just looking at it, they call it a prototype full armor assault Gundam mobile or ground mobile suit.
Yeah, like it's literally an old prototype Gundam with like full armor pieces slapped on it, like when they were prototyping that concept.
So, with the words assault, maybe a 350 raid, crazy. Actually, at that point, I would have to say 400 because isn't the level 1 prototype 350?
350.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But slapping better armor on it wouldn't necessarily make it like necessary for an upgrade because like.
So here's the thing: missile spray. Would you think that would actually be something you'd be able to fire on the move too?
Probably
a little bit like.
I mean, it would be like the G-Line Light or something.
I don't think so actually. Maybe actually, you brought up a good point.
Because I'm talking about like in terms of like this, because you still have the cannons here, right? So that would be the thing that you'd have to stop for to fire. Doing it with 2 different weapons isn't unheard of, but I would think they would be a little bit more lenient with that. They would also have to do that in turn for the gun cannon rocket spray run. I don't know if they do it with that too. That would be where the contention would lie.
I honestly think the gun cannon with the missiles may have to be a stand and shoot. But seeing how it's a Gundam,
yeah,
seeing how it would have a better reactor, so therefore technically more efficient, I could see it running around with firing a missile spray. Lore-wise, I can see it doing it. I don't know if they'll do it for game balance issues or...
I don't care about that. The game doesn't have a shield, so
right.
who cares?
I mean,
Right.
it's also, and I don't think we prefaced it, but like this is us just doing like heavy speculation as to what's left from the first game because they were talking about bringing as much over, if not everything, from the first game, the older like press release.
And how we think it's good for him, right?
This might never happen, or just how well it'll fit at all. But this is it's unique enough. I think it's unique enough that they could put it in a different role and it would fit in there.
Right. Well,
yeah, they could make it be any of the 3 roles, honestly, I think. You could kind of figure out how it would work out.
Now, here's something interesting, though. Let's say, further down the line, right, in this game's development, and how far we're going down, the meta may change multiple times. So, when this, let's say, this full armor drops at a time where, bazooka stun melee isn't a meta anymore. Let's say, something like Gatling fire is more meta or something like that.
Please, is this after they nerfed the shotgun? Because, like, what post-apocalyptic world are we living in?
Didn't they have like machine gun meta was a thing in the first game? Like, wasn't there an era where there was like a point where there was just MGs were better than bazookas, and bazookas became a thing in the first game?
Well, like the first game also had certain range weapons that would actually just induce knockdown.
Well, yeah, that is true. I don't really think there was really much of a bazooka meta in the first game, because due to it being running on a different engine and how blast mechanics worked, I don't think it works it didn't work the same way as it does now, because we're running on a whole different engine.
Yeah, there's also just a lot of weapons that we have to stand still for now that they could just fire on the move. The Unit 5's Gatling gun, I think, was one of those. So you have a lot of weird changes, even just with the machine gun meta.
So, like, yeah, I mean, as far as it goes, I think with how they like to change things, I mean, we could see the meta completely shifted upside down, which would be interesting. I mean, we'll probably, like, I mean, by then we'll probably have a number 3 to the game, but, like...
We'll have a water map.
Year or two. A year or two later, though, but it's like... if this game went on that long, like, it would be like, 2 years down the road, we're like, oh, by the way,
Aqua GM is in here.
Introducing the new water maps out, but also we're rebalancing the bazookas. They're it's you stagger and then melee, and it's gonna be like anybody who's played since the beginning would be like, oh, we're back to this, and everybody who's getting into it late will be like, whoa, this is a new meta,
right?
So they might try to start cycling stuff in at some point once they get so many suits.
Yeah, we'll see. I think they'd have to like either change the way something works drastically or just introduce a new weapon type, which I don't know. We'll see.
So there are some weird variants in here that are a little odd. Like we're talking about, like we got like the Night Seeker 2, the Intercept. Before they introduced space, they did just by itself without the booster pack on the back.
Yeah, right. No Facebook custom.
But then we also have the Gundam ground type GM head.
Yeah, that was
so. Is that like? So this is where, like, looking at the list, and I'm looking at it through the wiki, right? I'm kind of wondering how that behaved in game.
Well, now let me go back and
Not to
explain it.
mention that the cost increments
Right.
are very different.
The cost system was very different. It went in increments of 15.
Mm.
They did not go by increments of 50. So everything was buffed in the second game, essentially. So
Well, a lot of the suits were really similar to others because of the way the costs work too.
Right. Correct.
Right.
Correct, because they had so many cost levels, they had to fill in all the cost levels. So that's why there's so much stuff in there as well.
I don't know. It'd be cool if they had like false flag. Just think when the Zaku head Zeta Gundam comes out, it'll be a false flag
my
mobile
God.
suit.
I can definitely see that working.
I forget if they tried to do that in the series at one point. I feel like they did. It might not have been that suit, but it might have been something else.
Oh my gosh! By the way, I just saw one here. I want the gun cannon heavy arms. Yes, please.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, no,
Also-
the gun cannon heavy arms type is great.
So you know how we were talking about the 08th MS team designation?
Right.
There's another suit in here, the GM land combat type,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to the GM ground. I know their
Right.
names aren't super close to each other, but like if they introduce something like that, I could see that being something extra that they mount on. Like, why is this one different than the other one?
Right. Well, and then
Is
also
that the heavy type? Is that the heavy type D, or is that the heavy arms that they're talking about there?
I think it's the heavy arms, not the.
Because I see heavy type.
Yeah, the Type D for the it's the heavy arms Type D.
Rocking a bazooka and a heavy, like a giant shield on it.
Yeah, that is actually White Dingo version.
Slave
Yeah,
Wraith colors on it too.
Mm-hmm.
If
Oh,
it's the
Slave
shield,
Wraith?
it's
No,
just
Yeah,
it
we're
should
talking about
be
the type,
heavy
the
arms,
heavy. We're talking about the
Oh,
heavy D.
the
heavy
would
Type D, yeah.
be, that would be Slave Wraith. I'm sorry.
Also, speaking of Slave Wraith, though, you mentioned it earlier. that full armor Slave Wraith. Yes, please.
Hell yeah, man! I want
Yep.
that shit
Oh
so bad.
man, that
Yep.
is shiny.
Oh yeah, that thing I can definitely see it now.
That's
but
gonna
let's
come
think
out.
about-
That's definitely gonna come out.
Right. Well, now here's something that I was thinking about. Slave Wraith only goes up to 350. No, there's only one level of it. Never mind. There's only one level of the Slave Wraith. No,
Like
two.
the
I'm
like
sorry,
the heavy?
because-
Are you talking about or the cavalry?
No. The normal Slave Wraith, right?
Hmm.
There's only two levels of the normal Slave Wraith now, correct? So the 350 and the 400.
Yeah.
By the way,
okay,
that
yeah.
needs a
Okay.
buff.
So
does.
so now here's something that I'm thinking of. I'm wondering if the full armor Slave Wraith is going to come 400.
Emblem. I just
You see
noticed
my
what you
picture?
just posted.
The internet is an amazing place.
I gotta bring this up somehow.
What did you do?
Yep, that's exactly the question you should be asking.
Oh no.
What is happening? Is it in chat? Is it like down here? Hold on.
It's
wait,
just
what's-
in the call chat.
Yeah, I gotta pull this up somehow on the.
Hold on.
I'm gonna
Well,
put it over top of the banner.
oh my. Oh my.
What the?
Yeah, I don't know.
fuck?
I don't know if this is too small on stream, but there we go.
Look at it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
So if you're watching at home and can't see, it's full armor Slave Wraith with Rambo's head put on it.
Oh yes, I want that.
Thank you, Furnace.
Furnace agrees.
Heat turn on.
Don't forget the tippy furnace.
Let's see, this thing has a Gatling on its arm and machine guns on the shield.
Yeah,
Does it have
that thing is
Is those
insane.
rockets, or is that got like a pile driver on its other arm?
So it's got
It
A
does look a little like a
multi-launcher,
pile bunker.
a leg missile
It's
pod.
multi-launcher. Okay.
So it's got the leg
But
missile
that's in the
pods.
chest.
Back-mounted
Oh.
missile launcher. So I guess we have a small version of the MLRS type thing going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Slave Wraith
Um,
thing.
Is it
Are you
Scooty
looking
or
at-
is it just like on its?
Are you looking at the full armor slave race?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so how I'm looking at this, it's essentially the full armor Gundam, just with live ammo with everything, and then
Which
the
is
Gatling is
really
just,
cool.
and then like the Gatling is just the substitute to the 180.
Cannon.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, then
not
it,
180, but the cannon on the shoulder.
how does a shield gun work though? Like,
Oh,
I
it's
think
just a machine gun. It's just
yeah, it's literally two
essentially
machine guns
it's two
smacked into
machine-
the arm.
Yeah, it's two 100mm machine guns slapped into a shield.
yeah. So
That's what it is.
like I'm trying to think of how this thing would combo together.
You
That's
sit
kind of
down
what
with
I'm
the
thinking.
The Gatling would probably be like a kneel down, fire it until it runs out. I don't think you could.
I guess you would
grab with
missile.
it.
I guess you would. So it's got a
Yeah.
multi-launcher.
Well, see, it's
leg
that
pause.
Okay, so the missile launcher is the ground gym's missile launcher, and you can't. Well, you can walk around and fire it, if I'm not mistaken. So you can fire those missiles while.
Wait,
Yeah, I'm
it's
looking at a
the-
video of it now. I think it's got a big backpack. You can make the world record Gundam blush.
Hmm.
On a side
Interesting.
note, the Zaku half cannon looks really neat. The fact that this just has like a side pack for like
Wait,
I think it's a
they do
missile
have the
launcher,
half
like the
cannon in here?
Type.
The
Yeah.
Zaku half cannon was in the first game.
That's so cool. It's got a Gatling gun on its shoulder.
Oh my god. Yeah, I've just been looking at the stuff at the top. I haven't even looked at the Zaku's yet.
Yeah, I went down at the Xeon stuff. After a
Okay,
little bit.
well-
I hope shoulder mounted Gatling guns can be used while moving.
That would be interesting. But I have a feeling that the shoulder mountain.
It looks like it's
mounted,
its
Gatling-
main weapon is the regular like Zaku machine gun. So it's not even rocking the MMP80 in that game. That might be different if it does come here though.
So I
Mhm.
wonder. So yeah, the half cannon. They do the Gatling and the big gun. That'll be interesting.
I feel like it would be nice if it would let you move. I don't think they'd have that happen because you're also
Probably
talking
not.
about it does have at least one, unlike the
support.
rabbit type, it has the oh, it has two different missile launchers. It has some on its legs, but it also has the one on the hip.
Mhm.
That's neat.
Oh yeah, the Slave Wraith has a ton of. Yeah, it's got a ton of weapons, dude.
Dom heavy combat.
Like that would definitely be a 400 or 450 cost.
Oh yeah, the Dom Heavy Combat. I looked at that. That thing's really.
Ooh, dumb.
I mean,
So would it have the 2-tube rocket launcher then?
Or are you talking about the half cannon?
The half cannon, yeah. I'm trying to keep up because I don't think because it just looks like a Zaku 2, or it looks like a Zaku cannon, or it looks like a Zaku 2 with a cannon added to it. Like,
Yeah, that's essentially.
Yeah, that's
what
pretty
it
much what it
differentiates
is.
it.
And the one
It's
that
an
they show on
MF6.
here is a Gatling one, is a Gatling cannon instead, essentially. So
Mhm.
it's either going to have a Gatling or it's going to have a cannon on it. And it's pretty much a Zaku cannon smashed together with a rabbit type. Only it's a Zaku
Yeah.
2 instead.
that has a
That's
Gatling
pretty
on
much it.
Do you think it'd be the origin version?
I don't think we're gonna get any origin suits in this.
I
game.
want some origin stuff.
I mean,
Yes,
everything doesn't even
please,
look too
but-
crazy. Like, I don't see why we couldn't have it, right?
Yeah.
Like the Bugu and like some of the other early.
I mean,
like,
since we already
Xeonic
have
stuff are
the-
really cool.
My
The
thing
early
is,
type gun cannon would be neat.
This looks pretty under control. I mean, all
oh
things
yeah,
considered,
yeah.
like as far as origin suits go. Like, I mean, I think it'd be too crazy to put it in.
If it's I mean, my thing is we already have the rabbit type. So like, is it just going to be another 250 and they just go with the Gatling version? I mean, that would be
Possibly.
the
They
only way I
might
would see it.
do that.
I think a DACA low cost support would be interesting.
I mean, what would be
We have the Gigan.
having? Well, yeah.
But
Gigan.
like,
No, the
I
Gigan is
want-
also like a Scooty, very
Yeah.
fragile suit. I can imagine
Yeah.
this being a bit meatier.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
For
what
sure.
I want. This is my low cost Dom Barrage.
And like the Dom heavy type is literally like your typical Dom, but it has a shield, like the little curve over arm shield. Sternfoss,
the
big.
knuckle shield.
Yep.
Yeah, the
heavy
knuckle
combat?
shield, yeah. I don't know why, but the heavy combat type Dom isn't actually opening type because
It's only going
as-
into the regular, so I just found
Yeah.
the GBO1 wiki itself and like looked up the
Oh.
graphic for it.
Can you link the wiki in the?
Yeah, I got it for the heavy type, and then you can just go from there. Like I forgot I had the Rambo thing.
Wait,
I put it in.
Where did you?
I put it in.
Okay,
Yeah.
there it is. Got it. Thank you.
So that was for the
See
heavy
what
weapon.
Bugu
or
looks
the heavy
like.
type. Bugu.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So it's got the shield like that. Okay.
Oh yeah.
When you said it had a
yeah.
shield, I didn't know what kind of shield it had, but it
Yeah.
has like a
Normal knuckle
rabbit
shield.
type shield. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like they looks like they smoothed the edges on the on the Zaku. So
Yeah. Like you can even see where they wanted to put spikes, and they're like,
or
maybe
maybe made
not.
it bulkier. I don't know.
Well, it's also like
It looks
prototype because like even the prototype Zaku, it had like a bunch of like high mobility shit on it.
Dude, I dig that orange and white. It looks sick.
Yeah.
Oof.
And then you got the Ramvarel custom, of course.
It kind of looks a little Zaku-ish in the chest. Some just kind of looking at it too.
I like that you can see those aesthetics, and like they shared a very similar MG with like early Federation stuff from the illustrations. The typical box MG. And the shield's
man, I
pretty
mean,
different.
Just looking at it, I would almost say it looks like the Xeon equivalent of a GM. You know?
Yep.
Well, they did have the rabbit type in the first game too, so.
But of course, the Zaku one won out beyond this. I forget if they were produced around the same time or if that one's like slightly older than the other.
That's the WAF.
There's a. Okay, I'm a little confused by what the heck would be the Zaku tank cannon. I think that would just be whatever we have.
So what was the half cannon actually in the first game? Was it a? Oh, it was a
Support.
general. Oh wait, was it a support?
I'm seeing support. Is it a general?
I can't find it in the supports right now. Unless wait, is this it? No, wait, that's a tank.
So I think the Zaku tank cannon type is just what we have already. I think.
Yeah.
Like, the Zaku tank initially was used for like construction.
Half
and shit,
cannon.
right?
Sorry, I was looking for the half cannon, and I like seen a Zaku that I hadn't clicked on yet. Is it a general? Is the half cannon a general?
And Pell Rider Vincent Glessner.
Okay, so that is
The
actually the
VG.
captured. That is the captured Pill Rider that that was used by the. And it was. It also had loadout with. If I'm not
It looks
mistaken.
like the Freak Kai a little bit. That's just because it's leg rockets.
Mm-hmm. It had leg rockets, and it was actually equipped with Gelgoog beam Naganatas instead of the normal Pale Rider beam sabers.
They threw some Xeon stuff on it. Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
It looks like it has dual beam Naganatas actually, which seems
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
sick. Could you imagine just double Gelgoog dancing?
That would be amazing.
What the?
If it spun too fast, it'd fly away.
Oh, interesting. In the video that I'm looking at for it, when it pulls out the Naginata, it only lights up one side. And you can activate Hades mid-stagger? What the fuck?
Yo.
What?
What the hell? It doesn't like it gives you iframes, but you're like, oh shit.
Just pop it and get in there. Like, fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be crazy if there was a way to just pop that without having to deal with any of the iframes. Just like, yep, we're just going straight into this.
Here.
The swings look clean too. I just saw an attack of it. I'm not sure if it's a neutral, but the neutral's like a upward swing from the bottom, and the side was just like a side slash. No like cute stuff or anything like that. That's a pretty high cost match. So what cost would this have been?
Well, see, it ran in a different cost, so it would have been running in.
I mean, the video I'm watching, the guy's getting kills on suits that are like at 400 and up.
Okay, so probably a 400 cost, because it went by 25s, so 15s. I mean, so
do you think it'd be 400 in a world where the cavalry is a 350?
It can be a 400. I can see that.
I don't know. It doesn't look that much more powerful.
I mean, we have that issue with a lot of suits right now too.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the GM head in action too, alongside the Dom Heavy in this video. It looks like it just runs like a standard like ground Gundam.
Yeah, I mean, right now it looks like a BD with Hades. You know, I would wonder what would like make it 400 worthy. Like I could easily see it them putting it in a 350 slot or something. Like I don't think 400 is a stretch or anything, but it's just interesting. Like the rocket launcher would probably be a pretty big deal. Although it's like it uses the giant bazooka or the giant bazooka or whatever, which might be a bit of a trade-off. Maybe that would be fine. I don't know. That's interesting. That downswing is very clean. It's just the overhead down slash. It looks good though. So I mean, down feels like it'd be pretty straightforward though. Just be like rocket stun into like confirms, and he pop Hades and do dirty deprived things with it. And what was it again? A general? Ooh, and it's a general on here.
Interesting.
I wonder if they'd make that a. You think they make that a raid?
Probably a raid.
With the cavalry being out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I can see that.
I don't know though. At the same time though, that would give well, no, that would give that cost 2 and 2. They have two Hades generals and 2 exam raids at the 350 cost. If they did that.
I mean, you also have the potential of like the Dillahan being, because we were talking about that a while back too. And like it wouldn't have Hades, but it would. I wonder what cost they would even put something like that at with so many other Pale Rider variants. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah,
supports get a Pale Rider, just doesn't have Hades.
Oh my god!
I mean, they did it with the 04, right? Like it has a thrust, it has like a bunch of decent range stuff. Like that could just be the lower cost version of that for ground, because it would still have the heat lance for the thrust and all that.
Hashtag support problems.
Well, hashtag supports don't get fast mobile suits.
Yeah, right. No. Hey, I'm still saying that's why I'm at home with the GOG, is because it's just slow, very slow and deliberate attacks. That's pretty much the GOG right there. That's why I'm at home with that raid. Other than
that's not surprising. Like, do you not have the Gelgood ground at all?
Yes. I'm not a fan.
I was gonna say it's very slow and methodical. Just even when you run the Gelgood beam rifle with it.
My thing is like at that cost though, there's just so many other things like, you know, the barrage that I would just play.
Right. The funny thing is that a lot of people would probably say the opposite for the barrage and be like, it's probably safer just to run the ground.
I know, that's
like I love that suit. The barrage is just really fun.
I don't know. I just find what fits my play style, and that's just it. That yeah. The suit carries me. That's pretty much it.
Sound like Ramba Raw, just like, dude, it wasn't you, it was the suit. And Namra's just like, okay, like, okay, right. Boomer.
Thank you.
Okay, Boomer.
There has been a bunch
somebody
of
post a picture of that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a Dom heavy combat version as well.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we would even see that?
I can see
It's like
how
the trope.
Maybe.
It looks similar to the Tropin. I mean, it just has it has a shield.
it.
It pretty
It'll-
much is a trophy with a shield. It has the flasher though, like that's interesting. It's a little
Yeah,
different.
the Tropin does it? Or
No,
it
it
has
has
flash for the machine gun.
Yeah.
Also doesn't have an MG as a sub weapon on it. Like it's bazooka, Faust, saber.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, by the way, just saying, are there any other new Afrits that they could come out with? And I'm
No.
hoping the answer is
We're
no.
done with the freaks.
Thank goodness.
We had the
Done
one
with
that's
freaks.
covered in
Let's
knives.
slap a cannon
that's
on
it.
one.
Oh,
Slap a
God.
cannon on one.
Okay, actually, you know what? I'll
Uh,
take a support one. I'll take a support.
I mean, in all honesty, like we've gotten all the freaks from the game.
The Sniper Commander.
Hmm.
Let's see here. Well, and then that's something that's interesting, right? So they have Sniper 1 Commander type for the Zaku 1,
Mhm.
but we have the decorations to do Commander antennas.
Wait.
Yeah, that's
So
Sorry.
that was
So
something that like I'm
Striker heavy combat.
Striker heavy combat's actually pretty cool looking.
Okay.
I can see what you're getting at. Like it's just a suit that exists,
Right.
so they can like push the suit to higher costs without just
Right.
increasing the. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Increasing the level.
Yeah, that was kind of the point of the commander types, was that it's a better suit of that, so they could push it up. There really wasn't, as far as I know, most of the commander types were just better versions of their predecessors, or the grunt variants, I guess you could say.
Right. It's like still a grunt, but it's like the
Right.
special version of it. And that makes
Right.
sense.
And then as far as I know, the only reason why they threw the Zaku commander type in is because it was the first one to use the prototype Magella. So it was able to be different.
Oh wow, that looks.
So yeah, Ramzagok, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm
Oh,
looking at right now. I just
Ramzagok
clicked
is
on that.
Scary.
But by the way,
Ramzagok is scary.
the one above it though. So here we go. I'm going back to my board of Double Zeta.
Oh no.
Oh no.
They had the Agu guy in the first game.
Oh my gosh, yes they did.
Double
Yes,
Zeta?
they did.
Yeah? Huh?
The Agu guy, yeah. Well, remember, all of these they were all technically MSVs. Like, they weren't necessarily from Double Zeta. They were just thrown in Double Zeta just to be there.
Yeah, it was like that same episode, I think, where they also had the Zagok.
This
Yep.
And,
goofy
like,
ass thing, the Agu.
Yeah,
Yes,
that
with the
thing.
round eye. Yeah.
You know what
I'm
though?
ready for
Like
hentai Zaku, man.
we have the Zak, we have the Gog. We need to get the Agu guy in there.
Yeah, that's either
This is
Christmas
the
or
epitome. Like they took
like-
a bunch of old
that's
goof,
Christmas,
like,
guys. That's
cables and
Christmas.
we're like,
I'm calling
"Ugh."
it. Or
Yeah,
that's
that-
next
that-
Halloween. That's next Halloween. That's what it is.
Next Halloween is this thing? Oh
Yeah.
my god.
There we go. Then we'll get
Wait,
then we'll
that
get
should-
one.
that
Then
should
we'll get
totally
one of
be
these
it.
on your arm
Oh my gosh.
or on your head or
Pick-
something.
Just giant Vulcan guns, heat rods for melee, and
Well, now here's something interesting though. There's the normal one, and then there's one with claws equipped.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if we're probably going to get the claw type.
I hope we don't. I hope we get the one with heat rods.
I'm wondering what was in
maybe
the
it
first
runs
game.
both.
Yeah, like one's a heat rod, one's a claw. So you're like smack,
Mhm.
and then you're like whack.
I
Yeah.
can see that.
Well, and then I think
What's this weird one with the drills
Oh,
for hands?
yes, the Ag. The Ag was also in
The
the first
Ag.
game. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it was a raid.
Yo, that sounds really cool.
I
There
think
is
it was a
another one that
raid.
looks like it. There's a variant in the MSV page that looks like it could be a support too. Like it's got a missile arm and like a pod on the top.
What suit was that?
think it was the egg.
The egg? Okay.
Is it just literally AG?
Yeah, AGG, I think.
I'm seeing. I'm not finding it. But I will say though, that Ramzagok though.
Yes, the Ramzagok
That looks
was
amazing.
released with the Shimoda custom. I believe they were from the same thing.
The ag looks like it's gonna destroy a rainforest or something.
It does.
Interesting. Would that be a support?
Where the hell is the Ramzagok? No, that's the Zagaki. Where the hell is the Ramzagok?
Oh, that really does look like
there
it's
it
going to
is.
destroy a rainforest or something.
Maybe the Ramzagok never existed to begin with. I think that would
Ramzagok
be pretty cool though.
would
Good.
apparently okay. So I was talking to Maelstrom. Way back, with their old system and stuff like that. The Hangar system worked completely different as it did now. Actually, the Hangar system in this game is way more balanced than it was in the first game.
Hallelujah.
Because in the first game, you could literally do whatever you wanted. In terms of part slots and stats configurations, as long as you were able to, to fit it in there, if the game allowed you. I think that's how it was.
So you didn't have like a set amount of like slots,
right? So there was no set list as far as I have been able to gather information about the first game. And apparently Maelstrom had a round where he was the ace in a Ramzagok and wiped out an entire team.
That is insane.
From a fully enhanced Ramzagok. So
even the gameplay I saw like had regular Zagoks running around a bit more casually. So
the game was so laggy that there was no defined meta. You just played wherever you wanted.
just figure it out. Yeah, man. The gameplay that I've seen of it's real rough. Oof.
Well, and if you were on the US side, you couldn't do tackles.
Oof.
No.
You could not counter anything. That was how bad the lag was.
By the way,
one thing I saw a lot too was that people would cancel out of stuff with dodge rolls instead of like just dashing to the side. Like it's like night and day. Like if you get a stun confirmed, like a lot of players don't actually do a downswing or something. They just back off and start shooting them. It's really interesting. It's like a whole other like game.
a little weird.
We're gonna say that, Magnum.
Let me find it here. Desert Gelgoog. Yes, please.
Well, that was Desert Gelgoog is kind of how the Brown Gelgoog really is. It's just outfitted for desert. I think it was considered a support type.
No.
Armed Buster.
It was
it
was a raid.
Oh, it was a raid?
Game.
The Desert Goog was a raid.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
And it has a cannon on its arm. Armed Buster.
Yes, it does. It's
Yeah, I
very
was
neat.
looking at it. I'm like, this would be kind of cool to play.
You're talking about a Gelgoog rifle and then a cannon on its arm to fuck with. Like, that's cool.
High-powered solid rounds. What if this was kind of similar to how the Pale Rider's cannon works? Except maybe it would be a knee knockdown since it's a little small barrel. Maybe this is like a
normal stagger,
a single shot. Yeah, like a single shot high cooldown stagger or
like a
something
grenade
like that.
launcher kind of thing or something is how it essentially works.
Yeah, like an underrail on a machine gun kind of idea.
Yeah,
that's really interesting.
That'd be really cool. That'd be really scary if that's a raid, just saying.
Let's go.
Get that Arm Buster heavy stagger.
That would be awesome. Could you imagine that? Like you have
Oh my-
good range because you have the go good beam rifle, and when
No.
people get in close, you can pop them with the cannon and get a go melee on them. That
That'd be
sounds
fucking
My,
awesome.
that
I like
would
that.
be
Let's
broken
go.
AF, dude. No, I don't want that.
Hell yeah! I know you don't, but
That would be
that's-
my
I'm
nightmare,
ready for that.
dude.
I mean, the the John Assault exists. Yeah,
Right.
right.
Okay, I mean, sure.
G3 has a beam rifle and double bazookas.
Oh, by the way, speaking of the other thing being the full armor thing being a raid,
Mhm.
they could just have like the cannon on it, have like 3 shots like the G line, rather than actually having
Right.
proper
Yeah.
ammo on it. They could
Yeah.
just make it have like hardly anything for ammo, and then you overheat with like 2 beam shots rather than like say the normal full armor's 3, kind of stuff like that. That you
Well,
just limit
did it
its
have the beam? I don't think it did. Did it?
yeah the full armor prototype Gundam thing, whatever we were looking at.
Did it?
Yeah, it had the
I
beam.
thought-
It had the beam arm. That's why I was saying it would be
Mhm.
weird to see it in 350. Actually, that would be the only stretch, is because it's got a lot of beam stuff going on.
No, it is a dual beam rifle. I mean, it's only that one thing.
Yeah.
The beam spray gun exists. Cancer cannon has a gun.
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be too ridiculous. I mean, maybe if it's like
Okay, yeah,
it's a
that makes
dual,
sense. Never mind.
maybe it's like the dual. It's like this GM Sniper Customs dual beam pistol or something. I still think it's that. I don't think it's too ridiculous.
Yeah, maybe not.
I didn't even notice the beam thing. Hmm.
Because I was thinking of it as like support. How do you combo guns together, kind of thing.
Mhm.
But at the same time, if it just had limited ammo, then it was just kind of this extra thing to poke with. That would make sense.
Mhm.
It'd be interesting. Like the only problem I see with it, like maybe just be like a different. Like the reason I would probably see it as a general was like I don't want to say it'd be like strictly better than the current prototype if they made it a raid. Although having more options than just the standard rocket launcher or hyper bazooka would be interesting. But like if they make it a general, it'd be an interesting like general slot unit. Especially if you like you give it to ammo cap and stuff. It'd be really neat.
Back to what I was saying about the full armor Type B. No, but for real though, like I mean, for me,
Well, I don't even think so.
that doesn't affect me that much, like personally. But I was just wondering what you guys thought about the like them coming up with like the Type B and it pretty much being essentially the same thing, but like just all the way better. I mean, yeah, the base cost is a bit higher, so fair enough. So it's you're probably gonna want to use that in 500 over the level 2, but I'm kind of wondering if they're ever gonna like. What do you guys think about this? What if they ever like do a cost expansion? And what I mean by that is like once we have so many suits around certain cost, like even dividing them even further at some point.
Like incrementing them
mean?
more.
Yeah, like either
So instead of
dividing
a
them up.
level crunch, like a level expansion.
Yeah. Like I don't know if they'd even come up with like 25 difference.
Is your example okay? Like open it up to 25. I
Like
think
yeah.
I don't think the
But
game.
I don't think they'll
that would
do
ruin
that.
The game.
But what I'm saying is like once we hit let's just go way far out in the future just as an example and say we made it to the point to where there's like 800 cost stuff.
Okay.
Like we're getting like 3 800 cost suits that are out, but then they're just like, okay, we're going to take like these 6 350s and move them to 400, but also bump everything up 50 as well, kind of thing.
Oh, so shifting them from
Yeah,
where
like
they are.
shifting.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Like yeah,
That's
that's what I was kind of like shifting cost to different things at some point. So like essentially to where the full armor Type B actually starts at 550 rather than 500 at some point
That'd be
in the
interesting.
future.
Well, now you also have to think about. All right. Let's say they decide to do. Right. Think about me, my end though. If they do that, correct? All right. So, what if they end up changing stats? What if they end up changing a lot of things to the point where? Now, of course, this would be a couple of years down the line, essentially, but that would be like all of our wiki gone to nothing at that point.
Oh yeah, that would
that's
kind
true.
of suck.
That's kind of where I'm looking.
I mean, even then, the only thing that, I mean, obviously, at the very least, what you would have to change is just what cost certain things are. But
Well,
I mean, there are some
not only
suits.
that, but not only that though, but wouldn't they have to change their stats as well to comprehend, like to equal
I think they
out?
would.
I mean, it
Yeah.
depends. It depends on the suit. Like, there are some suits that already have, like, okay, so I'm guessing the way they've got it set up in the code is that the full armor is this base thing. So the full armor Gundam has these stats. No matter what
Right.
cost,
Most
it gets shifted.
most levels get shifted by 3. So they'll add 3 to their defenses.
Well, it's 6
And then
total.
they'll add
It's 6 total to, like, so
well, no,
whatever it is, it'll be
right, but
sum of
most of the
6.
time, it's a +3 to their defenses, and then they'll either do a +2 to 4 in their offensive, and then their part slots we haven't really figured. That's kind of like here. I think it's usually 1 to 2 part slot increase, if not 3. Sometimes it's not that big.
There's a thing that, yeah, I have to look at it again, but there's somebody that I was talking to and who went ahead and started doing like a spreadsheet,
Okay.
and pretty much he's got everything as far as what changes, and you can just hit what changes per level, and it's pretty much consistent across the board on how they're doing it. So like
Okay.
everything defensive wise just gets a sum of 6. So they'll do 2 in each, or 3 in one, 3 in this one, or
Right.
but it's every level gains 6 resistances. Period. I know that one. So it's so it's like the Grandpa Gundam gets, I believe, 2 in each
Okay.
per level. Since they decided to even that one out.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll see it goes like what, 15, or is it 25 or 50, whatever it is, and then it goes like 17 and then 19 for the level 3 or
Right.
whatever. But what I'm saying though is if they kept the same base stats, and the only thing that it makes me think that they have it set up the way I was talking is because the Thunderbolt. Remember
Mhm.
the full armor having higher melee priority, just the
Yeah.
normal full armor Gundam.
Yeah.
So I feel like they have it under this name as this, which has all these base stats, so that, for instance, the Type B really is just a new. They added the Type B after it, but they just cloned everything from their base class, and whatever their base class that they have in their block of code, they're just copying that class over. Which, I mean, that makes sense. That's how a lot of stuff is set up.
Yeah.
But
I can see that.
so like, so my thing is will they have to change the stats, or are they just going to shift it to a new cost? Now the question is does a cost have an effect on the stats itself in their code? So that's what I'm saying. If it doesn't have any effect on the stats in their code, then
Okay.
they could just shift it up 50 and no big deal. But that would be the question. That's kind of what I'm looking at it from.
I honestly, I think the cost has a tie-in to their stats as well. Now, of course, then people are probably going to bring up the E for DS.
Well, and
which
see, that
would-
would be an example that I would.
and that would be
I
something.
mean,
that
or even my example, the GOG, like
right.
that thing has. I'm just saying, now that I've got like almost all of it upgraded in the enhancement,
Mhm.
that thing is gross on its stats. I have like 30 or I think 30 plus on every defense on my GOG right now.
Mhm.
All I'm
Is
saying.
that with parts though?
I mean, that is with parts, but that's still 30 plus and everything, and it hits like for 4,000 on a support in a melee and a downswing. What?
Wow.
Like,
If you want my opinion on it, outside of outliers like you guys just mentioned, I would
Mhm.
just view it more like working like a spreadsheet, and you insert the base data at whatever its base cost is, and then like let's say like when you move a column down, you just have a formula set up that adds +6 or something like that, and however way they want to specify. But I mean, I feel like if they're going to do something that like what you mentioned, Magnum, they would have to adjust the cost or skills to compensate for them moving a suit up. Suits are generally worse than their level counterparts, especially in the case of something being at base level. And the game has already set a precedent where new suits coming out aren't getting worse. So if they're just like moving suits up into a higher cost bracket, they've got to do something to compensate for that difference.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I was saying. Like, it would be like a mass shift, is what it would be. Like, everything would be shifted at some point.
You mean like literally everything would just move up?
Like,
Yeah.
almost everything would just move up. Some things would kind of stay the
Okay.
same. So, for instance, like the full armor would stay
Right.
450 to 500, and then the full armor type B level 1 would be like 550, is what I'm saying. So certain things
Okay.
will
When
stay.
you first mentioned it,
and
I
then
thought
a
you
lot of
mentioned it
things
just
will
being
also
new
shift.
suits.
So yeah, no, I mean, even, and then like all the Stardust stuff would then be like 600 or something, or even 650 or whatever, But I mean, again,
So
like that's a
I guess that would be the
huge.
bigger question. Would be like, would it all shift at once? Would it be incremental, or would certain suits stay where
Yeah.
they are?
Well,
I think now even more so, like since you explained a little bit more, if they're moving all the suits, what's the point?
yeah.
Well, I
Because they'd
mean,
just be the same.
not all of them, of course. Like that's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not all of them, they have to increase the performance of the suits they're
Mhm.
moving.
Mhm.
Uh,
And they
I would say without
they,
question.
they would have to redo the skills, and they would have to. Hell, they'll probably have to redo
The Hangar increments.
Hangar. Yeah, they would have to redo all the Hangar stuff too.
Well, I
That's a
mean, okay,
lot.
so here's my thing though. So I don't. They wouldn't have to do redo the enhancement stuff, because that's really based on
Hanger stuff
level.
might not be too
Eh,
big of a deal.
Yeah, that's based
Like
on the
a
Yeah,
level
lot
of
of
the
stuff
suit.
is
That's not
a lot of
based
stuff is
on cost.
incremental. All right, and I mean, unless you're like
Right.
the GM level 4 or something, you're not getting level 2 anyway, so that
Yeah.
probably wouldn't matter too much.
Yeah, so that's yeah. Hanger should stay the same across the board, because that's based on the level of the suit, not the cost of the suit.
If
Um,
anything, they would probably just increase the required like tune-up points or
Yeah,
something.
that would be it.
Mhm.
Maybe at most.
Yeah, that's what the cost of the suit actually has to deal with, is the tune-up points. But what I'm saying though is, so say for instance, they're going to be moving stuff that has more skills. So like the Stardust stuff is going to definitely all move up. But there's some stuff like, the one I hit on all the time, the Zommel, which just kind of sucks. But the thing is, like, if it was, if it's the same base cost as a Zommel, but the Zommel then shifts or even stays where it's at, like, that's fine. And then now you're competing with the Zommel staying where it's at. So then it's, say, for instance, and again, we don't have a lot of suits to really compare this to, but then it becomes a 550. Like, say the full armor type B is a 550, the Zommel level 2 is a 550. So that's what it's competing against. Then you have like the Jaeger, which is fine to compete against. A few things like that would stay around at the same level, but they would shift out all of the like Stardust stuff. So then it wouldn't have to compete against that. So then really I think its skills would be fine where it's at. But again, they have to have a full enough roster to where this would work. So I mean this is, I mean, that's really the problem. They have to keep it crunched enough right now that you don't have essentially I mean, my roster anyway right now, I have like 2 500s and 2 550s general types that I can use. And that's for ground anyway. I pretty much have 2 to 3 options in space.
And that seems to be what they're working on right now.
So
Like,
that
they're
is,
not moving ahead. They're just trying to like crunch in more stuff at these costs.
yeah, and that's
Well-
the thing. But I mean, I think it might be causing a slight issue with, I mean, overall, if you're playing well enough and you have the suit, like if you have the full armor or you have the type B at 500 cost and you're playing well enough, they're, in my opinion, they're too close to the same suit for being that close to the cost. But at the same time, if you're playing well enough, it's fine. It's not like you're gonna just instantly win every game for having the type B compared to the full armor. The full armor is still good. Oh, and the full armor does have one thing over the type B though. I do remember this. It actually has melee defense. The type B has like nothing for melee defense, if I'm correct. One of them has like nothing for melee defense, but other than that, their range defense is exact same numbers. So,
my take on what you're saying. Like I think you hit key on the problem a few times when you were just discussing what you were talking about. But it seems like you've identified the root cause of your issue, but like your solution doesn't tackle it at all. Like, did you notice it? A lot of the times you just touch back on skills. I think like it would take less work and probably be a little bit more efficient to just adjust the skills on suits
Yeah.
rather than do what you're saying.
Mhm.
Actually,
I mean,
yeah,
do
that
you
would make
talk
sense.
about?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, because even like you literally were mentioning like of skills, and it seems like it seems like it'd just be better to, like I mentioned earlier, like the game has a lot of inherent skill problems with some stuff, like mainly in terms of suit progression. But it sounds like to me like you just want them to make certain suits have better skills. Like it sounds like you just want them to buff certain suits. I think that would
Or
probably be easier.
or even, I know they don't want to nerf things, but like even just nerfing the
They
Type
already
B
have.
skill wise. Yeah, they're like, we're gonna try not to nerf things in the future, but I'm like, even for the Type B though, I think it's pretty much not only got more options weapons wise. I think there should be a trade off there. So it's either stats, does it trade off stats, or does it trade off skills? But the thing is, it's pretty much same stats, other than I think it has less melee defense. Like I think the full armor Type B has like no melee defense, if I'm correct.
It has the same melee defense as the level 1 full.
Oh, it
It's at
does have
8.
the same? Oh, okay, it has the same as the level 1 though. Okay. So it does have less at level 2. But they do have the same both ballistic and beam defense, right?
More or less. Like only a couple point difference, like literally. And that's only because I only have the full armor to look at.
Okay, yeah. Well, I think the
But, like,
level
if
2
it's
has
the level 2, it'd
6.
probably be the same.
I think it has 3. Does it have 3 more beam defense than the level 1 full armor?
The level 1 Type B has 23 on both.
And then so is it 20 on the full armor?
The level 1 has 20 on both.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's essentially the level 2 has 23 on both.
Yeah.
Is
So
what
it should
I'm
be
pretty sure. So yeah. So that's the so it has a little bit less melee. And that's really its only trade-off. And I mean, I even think it has more of a range damage bonus, or they're close to the same either way. So it's just like, and then it has more skills. So it's, yeah, there's like no trade-off for what it's gaining. It just seems to be better in just about every way.
But that's the point. It's an upgrade.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's an upgrade. Like,
Fair enough.
like you're just talking about, it's like, what's the problem? It's an upgrade. Like, at least in my mind, like you're talking about the stuff like it's a problem. I was like, it's to me. I'm just hearing, yeah, it's like suits working as intended. Needs.
I mean, yeah, like I mean, that's pretty much. I don't know if there's something else. I'm thinking kind of more of like game balance than, like in lore. It is an upgrade of what it is, so fair enough.
I'm talking about in terms of game balance, though. Like, I think it's fine. Like, maybe it could be 550. But
oh well, I mean, like right now with what's in 550, it doesn't fit there. Like I don't think it really has too much of a competition with a lot of the Stardust stuff. Like,
So the other thing to
that's
keep in mind
explosive
too is
reactive
that,
armor,
like,
though.
you're
it does
talking
have
about
that.
like the main weapon. The twin beam rifle at level 2 is 1050. And then you look at the Type B's like triple beam rifle. Yes, it can fire a little bit more. 750. So like I think in some situations it'll hit just as hard, if not a little bit harder, with the full armor, but just the Type B literally has a bunch of other shit that it can throw at people.
Yeah. So that's, I don't know, and that missile thing. I know everybody's like, well, it's got the big stagger missile. I know it was a topic that I seen people point out on in one post on Reddit that I was looking at. But the thing is, the problem is that missile is just like, yep,
Fuck off.
a Zommel can dodge this thing, no big deal. So,
But it's a knee stagger, though, right? And
yeah,
it has
it
a
is.
big
Yeah.
hitbox.
Oh, and it has a
2200
huge
damage
hitbox.
and 500 range.
Yeah. Oh, and it has tons of damage. So it's crazy damage. Like that is the funniest part about that. It's like an insanely balanced missile for what, like, as far as how slow it is for a trade-off. But the thing is, its usefulness is like, unless they don't know it's coming behind them, then you're probably going to miss anybody you're firing at.
Like if you
I mean,
stumble
I
across
think,
someone who just got knocked down.
well, do you don't think it's just used to rocket into bull rushing raids? Because they're rushing right at you. It doesn't
Oh
need
well,
to move
yeah,
fast. They're gonna run right
yeah,
into it,
exactly.
right?
Like that's. I mean, well, that's the best part about it. It's great for dealing with raids. So
That's assuming that you had that lined up when they're already starting to rush at you just because of the ready up time.
and I
on
was
the
gonna say
missile
that's
itself.
the other downside
But
to
you
it.
also have like the missile bay for panic shots like that. The two missile launchers a little rough to do for like consecutive stagger. But you also have the cannon. Like there's other things you can do that are a little
You can actually
faster.
missile.
If you have it up ahead of time and you know they're coming at you, yeah. Don't switch. Just throw that at them.
You can actually do the ASL missile launcher thing and into the beam and stagger somebody too. You can break their stagger threshold if you combo those together. That's one thing I found out. So there's
Yeah.
a lot of combos that it can actually do with all of its weapons. My problem is there's not enough weapon quick swaps that you can do that's easy. So like I feel myself like getting rid of the melee. Actually, it was probably
I
the
know
better
I
way
did.
to
I
play.
put the big missile on my melee button.
Yeah, that's
Guys,
same
the
thing.
assault gun tank mains are telling you guys to cry some more. Like, oh, what's the problem? I just switch. I have to like flip past 2 weapons to get to my flamethrower.
or like just playing the Xeon. Like, oh my gosh, dude, I want like 2 more things. I'd never melee on it just because I don't have that on my bar.
Dude, man, I clap people all the time. I don't have it on my bar, but like I get those fist in, man. We fisticuffs with the Xeon. If I get a stun in,
Oh yeah, no, it's pretty nice though. Yeah, when you can pull it off, but like I always forget where like what weapon it's after. So
it's
like
right after the main weapon.
yeah, so
Like
I'm just
the
like
normal finger
well,
Vulcan.
and
Or
that's the
finger
thing.
cannon.
I take those off. Like that's so I gotta
Really?
like I got the chest charge on square, the side on X, the rear on circle, and then the head cannon on triangle. And then
I got you.
so whenever the hands are back and I have nothing else, which the thing is the hands do so much damage, so I normally overheat those, open up and overheat with those because that's just like 4 to like 8k depending on if you're shooting like somebody who's decided to bring out a Saikamu out in Xeon territory. You know, you're gonna hit them for 8k with 2 of those shots if you hit them with all the beams. But and then I just go back to my rotation of all the like side chest cannon, rear to one head as a stagger, and then side 3 shots with a head, then go back to full. Then I actually use the hands, and then if I get a stun with that, then I'll swap and hit him with a downswing or something. But that's about, and then by then all my combos up again, so I can go back to that full rotation of always shooting beams.
Right.
So that suit's crazy though.
Like, it's a lot of fun.
But yeah, maybe it's just the skill system. Maybe that's just maybe that's the answer to a lot of this. I don't know. I feel like there should be some trade-off. If there's a suit in the same cost, I would like there to be another reason to use this suit over here. Like there should be another reason I feel that you would want to use the full armor, even though there's the like full armor type B. And I feel like they've been fixing that at lower cost right now with some of the, you have the GM Kai, you have the GM ground type, you got the Zaku 2FS, you got the, and there's something that each of them have, and typically the fix is the skills. So yeah, I actually have to backtrack on what I was saying a little bit. The fix that would actually work without doing something crazy like what I was saying would just be to fix the skills.
I would say the best way to think about it is like the full armor is getting GM'd, Like no one said anything when the GM variants came out. Like the command's like, oh, the standard GM needs a buff.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, fair enough.
Granted, like it's kind of like a more extreme case of this. Like one's base 100, and the other's like what base like what is it 250?
I mean, you still have
like
people
that,
rock
but
GM cannons at 400 plus though. Like that's an extreme outlier, but
I can't wait till I
It's
get
still
that
out
fully
there putting in
enhanced.
work as opposed to the GM. It almost comes off as like the GM cannon's a little less memey than the regular GM when people put it out.
GM Cannon
Even
plays
though
like
they're the
nerf the
same
mud
base
rock.
cannon. Yeah.
Oh
Nerf the
yeah,
mud
right.
rock is better than my GM Cannon level
Oh
6.
dear.
Oh my
I know
gosh.
it was up there for a little bit, and then the
Cannonals.
full armor came out and pretty much just did away with it.
Well, here's another thing too. Speaking of, I mean, they've already done this in space too. What I've been talking about with, say, the GM Cannon, because I just got this suit, and man, is it nice. The
new
GM
one?
Cannon space type. Oh,
Oh, the assault, yeah.
that is. Ooh,
I still want
I
that.
love it.
that's a
It's
tasty
pretty nice.
suit.
It cleans up really well.
Like, it's just pretty much. I mean, if you're playing space instead of like, I used to use the GM Cannon for something, and that was space.
This
Now,
is a better
if I'm
version of
playing that cost, then I'm using that instead. But I mean, I guess that's gonna come with the territory of making a game like this anyway, because there's just so many variations that it's bound to happen at some point.
Mhm.
I'm trying to
I
think
mean,
about what
and
suit
that-
I was playing when we and you were playing Magnum, but it was a mine layer.
Oh,
Looking
nice.
at do stuff.
I was gonna say, but that plays into us looking at the GBO1 list too. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
some of those are a little bit more interesting, but then you have stuff like the Ground Gundam GM head, which isn't the Slave Wraith. It's not the Ground Gundam, unless it has another like gimmick. If they did put it in, and it is a little iconic if you're really, really into MS team.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the question of would it just be at a lower cost? Would it be around the same but just a little bit different in terms of
Yeah.
skill?
Like, I wonder where they're gonna put that.
And it might just be the answer is that they won't. Is that it just will
No.
be left out.
I want it.
And the Aqua Gem was in the game too. As
Oh
a
yeah.
support.
Yep. Aqua GM, and then did they call it the Aqua Zaku, or is it just like a Marine Zaku?
Zaku Marine.
Yeah.
How do you think that would play? Like, what support wants to ever use the hand anchor? Do you see what that does?
Wait, well,
I don't know
okay.
how it performed in the real game.
Yeah, I wanna know how that actually worked.
So the flavor text on here for it is a pair of rocket anchor weapons equipped onto the Aqua GM's forearms. Each has a grappling call that can catch enemy units to pull them into the Aqua GM's combat range. Come here, Raid, murder me! It can also be used to restrict. Oh, maybe it's the second thing. It can also be used to restrict the movements. Maybe act like a heat rod. That'd be interesting.
Well,
I don't want like my Aqua Gem to be Scorpion. I just like pull raids over to murder me though.
Come here, kill
So
me.
pretty
I
much
was thinking
pretty
like
much like Octopath Traveler's snare. It just like holds up for a hot minute and just start wailing on him.
I was thinking more of like grabbing them and just like throw them on the ground and just dragging them.
But it's like, take me, do it.
Yeah. He's like, kill me! Come here.
I'm surprised there isn't something like that on a sea, like a super aggressive
Oh
raid to
my
just like
gosh.
pull shit towards it. Like, come
That'd be
here.
really cool. Like something that actually like yanks people. Like that would be awesome, man. Like that would just like go hard into the MOBA mechanics. Could you imagine? You'd actually have like a mobile suit that can initiate a team fight a little bit better.
You mean
Oh
like
my
Blitzcrank
gosh.
or whatever?
Yeah,
like,
that
you
kinda
just with the
sounds
really
hand.
interesting.
That was my shit, pulling people across like walls and stuff. Like, nah, give me that ass. Just bring it over.
That'd be really interesting.
Imagine doing that with Sakumi suits as like a
Oh my
Oh
god.
gosh.
because there are those
Grab 'em, pull 'em back.
sequences where like you grab and then they would shoot off the fingers in their inside their chest when they're fucking like gripped.
I mean that's pretty much what Char was doing with the Xeon. He was just like
Yeah.
launching the hands, grabbing GMs and just putting beams in them.
I think
I
sick. Okay.
can't believe they didn't do that as a thing in this game. Just launch a hand, grab them, beam them, and then run off.
Oh gosh.
Thank you.
There's only more to stuff. Let's see. Night Seeker 2.
Night Seeker 2 would probably just be a tad bit better than the Night Seeker 1, honestly.
Does that have anything that would differentiate it from the Night Seeker 2? Or would it be another one of those cases where it's just like the same suit?
A little better.
Let me double check. Okay, so Nightseeker 2. It was a rebuild with the bare minimum of. So essentially a raid type.
Right.
So just
Okay.
an
It's like the-
angry
So
Nightseeker.
it's a
Nightseeker light armor.
Yeah, essentially, it's a Nightseeker light armor. It has a beam saber. It had its own beam rifle.
Wow, which was originally used by the light armor too.
Yeah. It had its
That's
own
cool.
beam rifle. And it's the same. Oh, it can also use the ball pup. Other than that, yeah, it's a raid version of it, essentially.
Low cost raid or
Yeah.
lower cost light armor if a dodge. Well, give me the Nightseeker 2, man.
Yeah. That would be
Like,
interesting.
That's I mean, not
be
saying that
kinda
the light armor is probably one of the more legit low cost raids, still, but the Nightseeker 2 may be what we're looking for. Or another suit that we're looking for. That seems fine to me. Even as Hesh. I'm trying to look at this stuff. High explosive anti-tank. Oh, it's like different weapons for like its 100mm machine gun. Okay. It looks like it has a bunch of different weapon options.
Oh, real quick. So one thing I decided to just look up, I decided to bring the game up real quick because I was
Mhm.
curious to see what the stats were. Because again, like the stats with the full armor type B, pretty, pretty same. With the rabbit type, it was a bit less, and it had a shield, so that kind of made sense. But with the recent buff, they kind of brought it up to the same thing. And looking at the GM Cannon Space Assault type, its cannon is insane, by the way, damage-wise. So it has a couple of more options with guns. So that's its benefit. But its health compared to a 300 cost GM cannon is much less. So you're looking at 3,000 less health from a GM cannon. And if you're going to use them in space. Now, it does have space specialization. You have roughly the same amount of everything else. But the GM cannon also has more beam defense with a little bit less melee. And looks like... Oh, sorry. I was looking at the wrong... I was reading off the wrong one. The GM cannon has better ballistic defense with less beam defense
Compared to the new space version.
compared to the space version, yeah. And then
I guess
has a little bit
that
more
makes
melee.
sense.
Yeah. And I
I
mean,
guess
even like in its story stuff, it's based a little bit off like a newer suit with the sniper custom,
Mhm.
like the legs and stuff that they gave it.
Right.
And then it also has it also has better base range damage increase. And then the other trade-off that you get is the space type is a bit faster. So there are some trade-offs for that one. But like if they kind of brought the speed, which they did just buff the speed of the GM cannon, I wonder if that, has something to do with the space. But other than that, like if they brought its health up a bit, then your obvious choice for if you were going to play the GM cannon or the space assault would be just space assault. I mean, I still find that the versatility in its weapons just outperform the GM cannon in space right now anyway, even if it has a lot less health. But that is a pretty significant amount of health that's just not there on that thing. That thing is super squish. Got less health than the Gigan.
Huh.
Did not notice that.
Wow, I completely forgot that actually existed.
Because Roy Boy gets in there.
So there's a suit that was in the first game. So the Gun Tank 2. I completely forgot that it was shown in Zeta
It's literally
during
just a gun platform.
during the evacuation of Jaburo,
Mm-hmm.
because it was protecting a Garuda transport. I did not. I don't ever remember seeing those in Zeta.
Trying to remember now.
Anyway.
You said a gun tank too? Which one?
Yeah. Yeah, the
Yeah, the
gun
gun tank
tank too.
Just
It's a boxy boy.
it's
It's a
silly.
very Americanized gun.
I was gonna say that's if we ever
It's a
made a
tank.
mobile suit, that would
That,
essentially
that
be
would
it.
be it. Yes.
Yeah.
That'd be as far as we got. It's like
Japan
it
would
pivots a
be-
little bit. It has a shit ton of guns and sensors. We're good.
Japan would be getting like armored core levels of speed on theirs.
Hey, they have to have missiles to dodge. We have it in spades.
Tell me I'll just be laughing. It's like, I already made that mobile suit, guys.
It's like, picture.
Anyway, what other suits have we not talked about on this list?
That's about it.
Actually, that's
SML
we hit
gun
a lot
cannon?
on the list.
SML is the missile one that we already
Yeah, that was the
Gotcha. Okay. Ground type GM head, cannon. Looking to make sure we didn't really like go into the Dolahan, but I think Gustav like mentioned it while we were talking
Yeah.
about something else.
Dullahan is the one with the heat lance and the guard shield.
yeah, it's a
Yep.
GM Guard custom
And
smashed
no
together
Hades.
with a G-line assault, essentially.
Yep, just with Hades. No, hold
No
on.
Hades.
No, it does not have Hades. I
Yeah.
forgot
It's the
about
only
it.
one that doesn't.
That's right. I was about to say, oh yeah, Hades, dude, it doesn't. I was about to say, they put Hades on that damn thing.
So I was like, they'll make that to support Pale Rider. It's like, there you go, supports. There's your melee support. Doesn't have Hades though.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Well, the
That's what I'm saying, it
Dullahan,
could just
the
be there
Dullahan,
or-
the Dullahan was a raid in the first game.
it'd be funny
can
if that
see
is
that.
a support. If
The
that ends
Dullahan
was
up
a
being a
general,
support,
wasn't it?
I'm done.
I was pretty sure it was a raid in the first game.
I'm not seeing it on the list for raids on that wiki, but I'm just seeing there's a couple of things not on it.
Oh, I do have my phone here.
I don't know if we talked about the Marine Zaku either.
Oh
Is it like
man,
a
and
Marine?
it has a bazooka as its weapon too. That's really cool.
Which one? The Dullahan or
The Dullahan.
Yeah, it has a hyper bazooka.
Like Marine. Saku grenade.
Saku grenade.
Saku grenade. Saku grenade. Saku.
So,
That'd
what
be
did you want me
interesting.
to? What was the one suit that you wanted me to figure out the Dullahan and see what it was for types?
I'm pretty sure it's a
Yeah.
general, but
Yeah.
Okay.
the Marine would be interesting. So in the last game, it was a support, and it seems really bare, like maybe a low cost suit. All it has is Vulcans and a sub rock gun and a missile pod or rocket pod, I should say.
Ooh, so is it a boombox?
The sub rock gun, probably not.
No. The 4-tube. It was the 4-tube rocket pod. Is that the?
Would that be like
That wouldn't be the missile
I'm not
launcher.
sure. I don't
Would it
think it's
be-
simplified.
Yeah, I mean, would it
No.
be kind of like a simplified or?
Okay,
Wouldn't it be
so
like something mounted on the body to suit, kind of like the leg missiles?
Kind of like the desert or whatever.
okay, so I just figured it out.
Oh yeah, rocket
Dullahan-
pod. Yeah, that makes sense.
The Dullahan was a general type in the first game.
Ooh.
That's neat.
It had a 3-swing combo with forced injectors, a hyper bazooka, a beam rifle, guard shield, and the assault lance.
Oh, I see a picture of the
Hmm.
rocket pod. It was like a gun.
A gun.
Like I mean, it's holding it like a machine gun kind of like rocket.
Are you sure you're not looking at the sub rock gun?
Oh no, that's the
Like,
sub
it's
rock.
kinda
Never
like got a
mind, that's the
stock?
sub rock. Yeah, never mind. It is the sub rock.
And it did
Oh.
not have Hades.
What was the sub rock? Okay.
At least managed to use for underwater stuff.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, now it makes
So
sense why it looks like that.
I can see the Dullahan being like a scary general. Because
It probably only have 2 swings, do you think?
it had a 3 swing in the first game.
Right, but I'm pretty sure they would take it down to 2.
But yeah, I could see it as a 2 swing in this game. I can. Having it as a 3 swing is with the guard shield, maybe not.
Really interesting.
But I believe it had the same. If it has the lance, I'm pretty sure it probably had the same swings.
It'd probably be the
Possibly.
same as the assault, right?
Right, that's what I'm thinking. But what they could do is make it different. They could just do it as like, I don't know, a stab and a smack or whatever. I don't know.
They could pull into GBO2's moveset and have to do a shield bash.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
That'd be kind of interesting. Or
Yeah.
or they just, make it a support that has multiple melees.
Hey,
But the
you guys
guard
already have
shield,
one, okay?
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, for real though.
You have your 2 swing. You have your true 2 swing support. Go with space,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah.
You need a ground one.
So I'm looking at
GBO4.
the Zaku Marine right now, gameplay wise. It looks like the rocket that actually holds in his hand is kind of like a G rocket, like for the old Gelgugs or whatever.
Like a bolt
okay.
rocket.
Yeah, like it slows down, it
Okay.
takes a shot, and it actually stuns. And then you have the missile pods come up and then go over
Oh,
out of the
okay.
body.
It'd probably work. Oh, it shoots from the back?
Yeah, or at least it seems like it comes out of its body somewhere. I'm trying to like out of the
I
front.
think they would just have it work like missiles do right now, where you just shoot forward or whatever.
Yeah. I
Probably.
mean, literally just like some of almost kind of like the Zagak. You know, how they travel up a little bit and then they just move forward to wherever you're pointing. It's like
They
that.
just shoot out of its head or something.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, there's that red spot on its head. Is that actually where the missiles are coming from?
It might be the Vulcan pod. Or not the pod, but the head-mounted Vulcans, because it has
yeah.
those too.
Okay, it has those.
The Zaku Marine or Mariner?
The Marine Zaku.
The Marine type.
Well, technically it has, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't it have missiles on its shoulders? Or
The
at least
picture
it's
I see
supposed
doesn't
to.
have anything like that, but it could. It just
Well, I mean,
that might
like
be
it
where
was
they're
embedded in the shoulder.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That might be where they're coming from.
Yeah, because I remember in Unicorn, and I even double checked its sources. It was being used as it was in its original SV. It had missiles in its shoulders, like embedded in the shoulders, and it would fire
I
from them.
missed the picture. That has a picture of the tube, but it looks weird. Like it seems like it's a water weapon. Like the suit. I'll send you guys a picture of it. You know how have you ever seen the Zoc and Gundam versus Zeta Gundam with the photon laser? Like it kind of looks like that, but it looks like the rockets are meant to be used while it's underwater.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I was guessing it would be, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh, my dog's finally getting up.
Uh-oh. Madonna.
Oh no.
He's gonna be like, hey, need out. I'm gonna open the door and he's gonna be like, oh, it's cold outside, never mind.
Baby, it's cold outside.
Oh no.
Mecha brought up a pretty interesting point. Maybe the Marine, since the rocket pod on it is like, facing upward, it could have a a very similar like rocket shot to the MLRS, but at a lower cost. It just wouldn't be as devastating.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was thinking for a second. Like the forget which full armor that we were looking at might have, where it had like a rocket thing that looked like it was kind of going.
Oh, that was the ground.
At the ground. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I was kind of thinking those missiles might kind of perform like the chest rockets that the full armor currently has. You know.
Oh, the missile bay or whatever. But I mean, when you think
Maybe.
about
Oh my
it, when
God.
you think about it in the context of it being underwater, like it having that ascension rate and then coming back down and stuff, like coming out of the chest, and that kind of makes sense. Although when you shoot at elevated targets, it kind of levels and runs like a regular like missile. It just goes straight.
So yeah, it's interesting. I think the only other ones that I can see. Did we talk about the Gogu G? Was that already in the game?
The ground type?
Let me see.
I think it's
Yeah,
something.
It's a
Gogu.
raid. Well, it's a raid, unless it was a raid in the
Gelgu
last.
G, I think, is the one that has that cannon on its arm or whatever.
Oh,
Or was that the
okay.
desert?
No, that was the
Gelgu?
desert. Yeah.
Gogu G.
Goku G. Oh, there. Wait, no, that's not it.
Oh,
That's a different
GD.
version of the.
That is a
No, no,
different
just G.
Oh, there it is.
Gogu G. Well, MS-14 GD.
Right,
It is
yeah.
it's a. Oh, okay. So it's a desert version of the ground type. That's what it is.
That's a sick looking shield, man. That thing looks awesome.
Oh,
that
dude,
looks nice.
that is a
Oh,
legit shield. I want that, dude.
It's like a kite shield, man.
yeah,
the little
man.
half shield.
its beam rifle looks interesting.
Yeah, it's like a little short
what in
handle.
the world?
It's
Yeah,
like
that's pretty cool looking.
It's their version of the beam gun. Watch. Could
Heard
you
you need the
imagine?
buff
You
for the
think
beam
it's gonna
gun.
be like a shortened, like it'd be nice if it was like the light armors, right? Like it's just a stripped down rifle. But what if they made it a beam gun instead? Oh
gosh.
no!
That's fine. Everyone just use the giant bazooka instead. Nothing. No problem at all.
Yeah.
Mm. I'm looking at the graphic for GBO1 on it. I don't know.
Yeah, the banner art.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or just the yeah. That's I like how they actually show it in game for the banner thing too. Like,
Mhm.
that's neat. It's not just straight up art.
It's right next to that rabbit ear. And there's a ground.
That's
Oh,
probably
that's
what
not
we
what's
call
called.
this Gelgu
Ground
Gravity
Zaku.
type.
It
And they have
looks
4 Akai in the back, maybe more.
Mm-hmm.
it looks like it's really I don't know why, but this particular Gelgu is pronounced like its snout is really pronounced because it's black and like darked out, or maybe it's like green colored, but like it's like its snout is like really prominent.
It's noticeable.
It's dark. Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost like a face mask instead of like.
Yeah.
It's like a
It's Bane.
Zaku. It's a
It's a bane.
You have fucked up, support. Kill you now. I shall break the support's back. Oh, counter tackle is you just pick the mobile suit up and crush it over your knee. Or something
God.
like that.
Oh my
Oh
God.
yes.
That has to be a counter at some.
yes, please.
Just like
Oh
one
my
of the
gosh.
bigger suits that we get and just cram someone's booster.
GBO2 gets a new tackle, just drops the shield.
Oh no!
Oh gosh. Like, okay, you know what I want to see? I want to see like a counter where you just like yeet whatever you counter. Like you're just like
Just
like
a
you-
throw.
It's like throw it.
yeah, like you're a support and a raid gets on you to counter the raid though. As soon as you get the counter, you're like yeet. You know, you just like they flew up and landed like off of an edge. You know, like port base. You're over at D, and you're like right there shooting at somebody across the way.
You just
the
see a
raid just, like,
flap in front of
lands,
you.
And then they like go to melee you, and then you counter, and then you just like yeet, and then they fall back down in the pit, and you're just like, okay, back to what I was doing.
Well, then just imagine like somebody. No, like imagine like an ace match, just an ace just chucking somebody over.
Or just chucking them at the ace.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Like, here you go.
Like if you
Order
hit
up.
somebody with it, it staggers. Oh my gosh, that'd be silly.
Don't worry, Don Zaku will be able to grapple.
Right.
That's another thing they should make
Just
for
waiting for
shits.
Karate Zaku.
Just like a deadly counter on it, and its melee blow like actually has special animations for it.
Oh my gosh. Heavy stagger per hit.
Yeah, it's like GOG level resistant to stagger, so it can actually get shit off.
But outside of that, the only thing that jumps out to me is the Gato Gelgoog.
I mean, Gato's Gelgoog was just a
Right, it's probably just another ace version of a suit,
it's another ace version. It was did. I don't
just to push it up, right?
Yeah, I honestly don't think Gato's Gelgoog would really I don't really see a need for it due to the fact that all it was a normal Gelgoog. There was really nothing special about it lore wise. Game wise I have no idea.
Another one that was just, unless we have it, but they have a Garmazabi.
Oh, that's the FS.
Oh,
I was
that's
gonna
the
say,
FS.
that- that's
the
the
colors are
version
just the
now.
FF.
Yeah, no, like the Zaku 2 FS is Garma's.
Is Garma's okay?
Hmm.
Like the Rickdown 2 calling the attack colors are just the Rickdown 2 in general.
Okay.
They're
swing
just
is pretty similar.
specifying. They're just specifying whose FS it was. The Shin Matsunaga version was labeled SM anyway, so I just think the Shin Matsunaga version was this game.
Yeah, they had the Shin Matsunaga.
Yeah,
They're somewhere.
Yeah, the
because I thought I saw it.
the Gato Gelgoog seems to play just like a normal Gelgoog, from what I can tell, just looking at it too. It does have access to the bazooka though.
Which bazooka?
Looks like the giant bazooka. Maybe it's Rick Dom too.
Oh, that other special one that's got like
Oh, the
Plate
beam
or whatever.
bazooka. Are you talking about the beam bazooka?
No, it's just a
No,
normal
no.
bazooka.
Oh, normal. Okay,
It's
because
just
I
a
know
giant bazooka.
I know technically Gato's Rickdom was able to use the beam bazooka.
that's cool.
Yeah, he did have himself a beam bazooka.
I'm sure the Federation didn't have any trouble letting him borrow it. He's like, "Oh, they already got the GBO2." Bazooka.
When you have a guy that can just waltz into your ship and just like take shit whenever he wants, it's like, are you really gonna try to stop him after a certain point?
I still found it funny that the guy managed to find a uniform high enough rank where Gato or where Ko and Keith actually had to stand still and salute the damn guy.
He saluted him even when he was fighting him, and he had to yell at him for it. Ko says,
Yeah, Ko's just straight up dumb. I feel bad for Keith. Keith having to deal with him. Oh my gosh. But sometimes Keith ain't that better anyway, because he would just start like egging on Ko about things, and then it just gets bad.
snowballed from there. Not to mention Keith was a bit of a coward sometimes.
Yeah.
Unless he had to like balls up because Ko was about to die.
The plot says I gotta act up, or I gotta act now.
Right.
Let's get in there. I'll save you, buddy.
Here, let me just fire off my beam cannons on my Gym Cannon 2.
Am I crazy here, or am I seeing 3 GPO2s?
what? What do you mean? There should only be
There were
2.
no nukes.
No,
No,
there was only the MLRS and the bazooka. Beam bazooka was a general type in the first game.
Yeah, I thought I saw it say Beam Bazooka, but why do I see it by its actual name? You know, by
like
its
just by itself.
flower name or whatever.
Oh, Physalis?
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, that's the name of the GPO2.
Well,
So
yeah, but I mean, like, I could have swore I saw on the list Beam Bazooka somewhere here, and then down here
oh
at the
yeah,
bottom is MLRS.
the beam bazooka. Yeah, the beam bazooka is in the list. It's the RX-78 GPO2A Gundam GPO2A beam bazooka type, and then down below should be the MLRS type somewhere.
Shit, where is it? It was there a second ago.
The MLRS, where the hell?
It's
did
at
it
the
go?
bottom, second to last.
What, the MLRS?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, though. I see a. Let me find the Beam Bazooka. I thought I saw like 3 different ones while I was looking through this list. Yeah, here we go. Beam Bazooka type. And then you have. Yeah, it's on here 3 times.
Wait,
I think it maybe doubled up on accident.
Yeah, because there's one that just says the Physalis by itself. I don't see the other one for the Beam Bazooka type though.
Beam Bazooka's down in the.
One's the Federation type before it got stolen.
Oh.
So the feds can play with it too.
Okay, so that's what it is. So the feds
'Cause
have
they
2.
got the-
I was kidding. I was kidding. Is that right?
I'm guessing that's
that
what
would
it is.
make
Yeah.
more sense.
That would
Because
actually make sense.
There's the
yeah,
Beam
it is.
Bazooka.
There it is.
The Beam
There's a Beam
Bazooka is in
like,
the
yeah.
is in the Xeon stuff. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah,
so then
because
what the
the
fuck did the
MLRS
one for
is
the
in the-
Federation use?
They just had a nuke.
I mean, that'd be funny.
That's what it had. It had the missile launcher rocket system, multi-launcher.
MLRS.
Yes.
Yeah, but above it though is the normal one. So what? Did it also have a Beam Bazooka, or what would they
Wait,
have it with?
where's the other GPO2? Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they just gave it the nuke, right?
Pretty much.
I'm wondering if that was a typo. I wonder if the guy was just putting in the GPO1 and went like, "Oh yeah, we'll put the GPO2 in." And it's like,
So let's see.
I don't know. That's interesting because the MLRS type was in the feds, which would make sense because all it was a variation. Never got its attachments. Huh.
It's fine. It's just the variant version.
It's just a variant.
This is fine.
This is fine.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. There are a few suits that I'd definitely be pretty excited about, just based off what we talked about today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to the
Full armor slave wraith. Let's go.
full armor slave wraith.
Mm-hmm.
Full armor slave wraith. 450. Let's do it. 450. Full armor slave wraith.
Yes, please.
350 to 450.
So
I think it hold up with the Gatling gun at 450.
Yeah.
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 You think so?
I mean,
Yeah.
I lay on the Gatling arm pretty heavy with the Alex as it is.
Yeah, I use
And I
the
do go in with the beam rifle
Yeah.
instead of the bazooka.
Mm-hmm.
and you look at the Gundam, the red Gundam, and it does
The
pretty
red
well.
Gundam. Yeah, that's very specific. Red Gundam.
I feel
Isn't
yeah.
that
I
what
think it's a
Emblem
bit of a
calls it?
different niche. Yeah, Red Gundam.
Yeah,
I
red
feel
and blue
like
Gundam.
I feel like it's a tad bit of a different niche. Like they both use the same type of gun, but like that'd be interesting. Because I wasn't even like thinking of comparing it to that suit. Maybe I just think it'd be like a 400 base.
Well,
Or,
and
like,
then
think
also,
about
what
the,
about the rate of fire of that Gatling, though?
Imagine the GPO2's Vulcans, but put on your arm, essentially. That's what I would think it would be
Yeah.
like. Just
Probably.
a heavier.
Like talking about the
like a
shield?
s-
Talking
Yeah,
about
the
the
shield
shield
bit.
gun?
Yeah.
Which is the
probably,
prime?
yeah.
The shield machine gun, or would the shoulder machine gun be the, like?
No, I
No,
think it's main. I think the main would probably be the one on the shield.
Yeah, the shield would be its main weapon.
Yeah,
I
kind
feel
of like
that
how
too.
the full armor, like how the normal full armor has the beam rifle for its main.
They probably literally just have it work like the custom, though.
Mm-hmm. Gosh,
Yeah,
the
it'd be
Aggie
interesting.
guy.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess I haven't seen it in
guys,
action. I like in my mind, I just see it being like underpowered at 450.
450.
Maybe it's just because I'm biased against machine guns, though. Because it's not like the main difference between it and those other suits you guys mentioned is that they have a primary, you know. Like Gustav immediately went to like, well, the arm Gatlings on the Alex are pretty good, but it like falls back on its bazooka / beam rifle, whereas you're still just kind of stuck with the machine gun with the full armor slave wraith.
Well, I guess you could talk about how like the level 3 Noct, it's a 450, correct? Yeah, it's a 450 suit, and it has a little arm gun, but like hardly anybody uses it. So
I mean,
I mean, like you could probably say, maybe that machine gun isn't great enough to use, so they'll just set it off to the side.
I mean, I kind of see it as like the like the if it's going to be a support, just look at a full armor, for instance.
Right.
It's kind of going to act like that. Only you cannon and then or rocket or whatever and then you follow up with a Gatling, and then while the Gatling's taking 10 years to reload, you stagger, and then you follow up with shield. Like that would kind of be the two that you rotate
just
back and forth.
initiate in different order, essentially.
Yeah. Right.
Or then if you're just
does
poking,
it have? Oh, it has the missile. I was even thinking about that. Okay, I was thinking like, am I just forgetting something that you guys are thinking about? Okay, so it has the missile. That seems like it'd be like stuck in station and secondary. Like, what do you think? You have like two rounds tops, maybe 3 per reload.
Yeah, something like that. And that's its stagger from long range, and then you follow up with either the Gatling, or if you're closer, then you either just pew-pewing with the shield, or you start with the stagger with the missile and then shield at close range.
Do you think it'd be a high cost mass-produced cancer cannon?
I can see it.
Yeah, pretty much. I
can see that.
That kind of equivalent. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, stun them in DACA.
I mean, it would probably be one of my suits. I would probably definitely play it, because then it would kind of be like my Zaku cannon to take into 450.
To just bully like raids and shit.
Just to put it out there, the back-mounted Gatling cannon is the Goof Customs.
That is true. It is the Goof Customs Gatling gun. So, saying that, and seeing how the Goof Custom can run around with its Gatling gun.
It looks like they stood still in the first game, though, so it'd be interesting. I think putting a Gatling gun on the back makes sense for you to be able to move and shoot with it. I don't know, because like I guess I can kind of see like Unit 5's over encumbered or whatever, and it has to like hold both with it in its hands or something. Its legs are still free, but literally like if it's on the shoulder, like you're using like nothing is being like used. Like how come it can't move and shoot? I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Now they could say that it's too heavy of a caliber.
Well, it'd probably just be the same idea as Gatling Smashers, honestly.
Yeah, just a single one that's bigger.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it is, I don't know.
Which would be nice, because they probably have like more range on it too.
Yeah, I guess if it has more range, then maybe.
But yeah, I think that's. I think we covered that one decently well.
Okay, so
I just touching up.
Yeah, I was gonna say if we don't have anything else to talk about on that, then let's see. Ranked and / clan ranked is what I got on my topic anyway. So pretty much, I was thinking today, like what. So back on the thing that you were talking about, Emblem, when you were like, it's gonna be a ladder kind of thing.
Could.
Or yeah, sorry, it could be a ladder kind of thing.
So I still think it could work 2 ways, but I gotcha.
Here's my thoughts on it. We are using Google Translate, and Google Translate comes up with Cancer Cannon. So just because it's using the same words as like rank, and those are the same words that have come up what we played ranked, why haven't we seen anything announcing that there's going to be a ranked in 2 weeks or something?
Because Battle Operation is bad at announcing anything.
Okay, that's true. That is true.
Also, the
Well-
sign up period probably would have started like this week, if not last week, if it was going to be a
Mhm.
standard rank event. So it probably isn't going to be like ranked match like we know it if it's a clan based thing.
Mhm. Well, maybe they're making it as. Well,
It may be that they're
Gosh.
just gonna bump it.
they could.
We just haven't announced it yet.
Mhm.
They
Well-
actually are talking about it at that meetup event. It's like, yeah, it's just going to be here. Yeah, you guys don't get to play it.
What
in
if
the
that's
video
what
game.
it is actually?
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
that would suck.
Oh, you weren't at the Osaka Dome. Mhm. Rough, you
Actually,
missed
wait.
out.
Okay, so when I looked at that post, isn't that in March? That in March?
I thought it was this month.
No,
or
it's
was it
this
this month?
month, I'm pretty sure.
What? I thought.
Did it already happen?
I think it was an announcement for it that it was coming up because it's one of the more recent things on their Twitter.
Okay, so the fourth GPG, that right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that would be the one where like they had the BDs going everywhere, and that's why they nerfed them. Yes.
Oh wait. Okay, so wait,
No,
was
this is
it was
different.
held
This is
on
different.
Saturday, March 23rd, 2019. Okay, never mind.
Oh, is it the same? Is it the same as the little like competitive event?
That was the one with the BDs.
Oh, December 14th. Okay, here we
okay.
go. Sorry, the
There you
thing that
go.
the thing that they did was in March, but this one
Originally,
is
it
going to
wasn't.
be.
They're gonna do another one.
Yeah. Okay. My bad. I was like, what? But okay, that's what it is. Maybe it is
only.
that. Maybe it is that invite only. Yeah. But
That'd be rough. Like after all this time. it's
after all
just
this
like,
time, we were like,
this.
oh my gosh, it's
Yeah.
coming late November, and then no. So here's my theory: we're gonna get something
fly to
either this
Japan.
patch or next patch that is going to be like, by the way, because here's okay. Well, let me say what I think, and then I'll say why. It is a ladder system that is just kind of like, or a rank, or like you know how you have a ranking like captain, lance corporal, and stuff. We're gonna get
Mhm.
that same thing for instead of just level
Clans.
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're gonna get that same thing as your clan rank is lance corporal or something. And the reason why
Mhm.
I think that's gonna be what it is when they are talking about ranked, because they also say that is your ranking is your lance corporal or whatever. But then, so those two words are the ones that actually coincide instead of ranked matches that we were thinking of.
Mhm.
But the way you unlocked the second operator was how?
By leveling up.
By getting to ensign.
Yep.
And they were talking about linking the clan stuff to getting Neidhart, which
Mhm.
if that's the same thing, then that's what they're talking about, is something to do with ranked in that kind of deal, where you're maybe not even a ladder even. Maybe it's
Mhm.
just they're going to
Mhm.
add a new ranking thing for guilds, or clans rather.
I guess that would make sense.
And that's
So
all
what
it's
you're
going to
telling
be.
me, is 3 operators, 3 ranked events, Half-Life 3 confirmed. Is that where this is?
The memes
did I-
never
like,
die.
did a formula like I like was connecting the dots and doing the math like this is that where we're coming from here?
And
It's like
then
Valve is
next
actually-
week our guest is Gabe Newell.
Awesome, all right.
Gabe Newell.
Oh my
he'll tell
god.
you he'll tell you to pay to win.
Oh my
So
god.
I'm gonna
Oh,
say this
man.
like I said before. It's gonna be paid to win.
Is that a quote? Did you really say that?
I don't know.
I was say like, oh man, like put them up on a freaking like burning
Stake.
like tree or something, man. Goodness.
No,
Put 'em on
seriously
the
though, here
stake.
recently, I was gonna blame it on Death Stranding, but like I've been in this like, here it is. I know I've connected the dots. Here's like, but I guess I started kind of with the Zeta thing. But I've been in that mindset here recently for some reason, because that was just me the entire thing with like Death Stranding. I was like, okay, so this is happening here, so this is doing this and this and that. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's kind of where I'm like.
It's kind of like Death
ranked,
Stranding
we
trying to
figured it
figure out
out.
these developers.
Yeah.
Just because combination of like slow reports, language barriers,
Google
and
Translate.
like
That-
the fact that we
not
have
even the
hardly
language
any
barrier.
like any social media to go off of. So it's just like, what the fuck are you guys thinking?
Exactly.
It's interesting. I wouldn't like oust the idea that what you're saying could be the case. Because I mean, it could work. I know I'm only skeptical, but just because there's not enough evidence to say yay or nay in either direction.
Oh well, yeah.
Oh yeah, speculations abound. Like
Yeah, for
once we
sure.
got past the suit stuff, like all this.
Oh yeah,
is-
same disclaimer here. That was for the old suit stuff.
We have no fucking clue.
Downtime Podcast is completely unaffiliated with Bamco. But we could be.
For now.
So we have no idea. We have no
Hashtag
idea
not
what's
an ad,
gonna.
Hashtag could be an ad.
Yeah. So, you know, who knows what will happen? Hashtag build a Gundam at $100 bills.
Oh, ring, 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 ring. What's that? Oh, it's Director Kobe on the phone. Hey, guys, we're sponsored.
No, he's like, guys, chill, NDA, bro. And like, oh shit, sorry, Kobe.
Oh my gosh, if he ever hits a grenade, all I'm saying.
But yeah, it's interesting, to say the least. It's definitely a mechanic I wasn't thinking about. Do you think maybe it would kind of supplement the clan levels, or would they just like have some other value they check, or would just be like just for that event? Like, how do you think the would those ranks at all carry over at
Okay,
all, or would
so
it literally just be for the event?
The
Like, what's the
only
long term
theory,
with that?
yeah, I was gonna say the only theory that I have with it is like your clan is kind of like turns into your mercenary group sort of thing, right?
Hmm.
So your mercenary group kind of ranks up thing, if that makes sense. So it's like
Right.
you're like, I don't know, you're running your own.
I think we better look at it as like individual, like, I don't know, platoons or battalions within the PMC or PMU or whatever it's called.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would, something like that. Yeah. So essentially, you have, because I mean, think of it like this. I don't know. This is the first thing that just popped in my head. Like looking at a white base where all the people on it are of different ranks, and like as far as like lieutenants and stuff like that. In that sense, you have whatever your plan is your platoon or whatever, without actually having like a actual clan base off in the middle of nowhere kind of thing, if that makes sense.
Right.
But yeah, something like that. Yeah, this is your platoon or whatever, and people in it have whatever ranks, but you're the rank whatever overall for the I always forget it. PMU? Yeah, right.
Yeah, I believe so.
I was gonna say you just said it, but
Yeah.
I always.
Private Military Union.
There we go. So that's what I was kind of thinking, that the whole ranked thing is coming out, and it's just going to be an extra mechanic thing, and we might get, because they said late November, and I mean, that's next week or this week.
Yeah.
So I mean, if it wasn't an event where you were playing actual ranked, then I think that ship's kind of sailed at this point. So if it's something that's not as significant as a ranked match, then this could be something that they just bring out as a mechanic. We might get information on it next week around Monday or Tuesday.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of like how we get ranking for like how many clan missions we do among people.
Yeah.
Right. It'd be like a permanent clan edition.
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
I see that.
And
just so like everybody that's in a clan gets Neidhart at some point.
Yeah. Like the clan finally gets to this rank, and then boom, everybody gets Neidhart. So that's
that'd be interesting.
Speaking of like extra stuff for the clans, I'm surprised that they haven't given clans their clan room or like spaces.
Well, and that would
like,
be the other thing that
cosmetics on and stuff.
Yeah, PlayStation Home was pretty cool. I wouldn't mind seeing it in battle operation. And that'd be cool. Having a clan home would be really sweet. Ways to organize it. The only problem I just thought of an issue if that Magnum, maybe it's not an issue, but maybe it would just be an event, because what's stopping if it's like linked to the guild, is it good if new players just hop in and unlock the new operator immediately? Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it would depend on what the rewards actually are.
Mm-hmm.
And
Ooh, but what if they had to just individual clan rankings per person? No, but
No,
that's technically
that
for the
wouldn't work
group
that way.
dynamic. But maybe it didn't exist to begin with. Well, you get what I'm saying, though, right?
yeah,
Like, it's not really like assignable positions. Even though the one they have right now is completely like worthless for the most part.
Maybe they would tie it to that though, like whoever when they do those clan mission checkups.
Yeah, kind of like
To
what you
see
talked
who's
about, like
ranked.
contribution.
Yeah.
that might
So
be
like
it.
if you actually rank in the top 3, maybe you can get it, or if
Ooh,
you're number 1 or whatever.
there's a twist.
Yeah. That's like the only way I can think of it working, where you don't just have people hopping in.
The
So
safer thing to do
competition
would just
within
be
your
literally
clan.
people, just getting it for the level.
Right.
Or like
It'd
it
be
would just
healthy
be
competition.
a long-term mission for the clan as opposed to like a weekly thing or whatever, or
Mhm. Yeah.
tied directly to the level.
That's interesting. And it's a little bit
So
like you
like
already get
they
bonuses, but
like at that point, right? Since it was a limited one,
hmm.
you would
Mhm.
miss it even if you tried to hop into a clan after a certain point. So that would kind of get rid of that issue.
Yeah, that's not bad. Like, actually,
It all depends though. Like
that'd be interesting.
hopefully we do get a newsletter, because I was even crossing my fingers for one this week, just so that we could see not only just stuff for ranked, but like going ahead into the holidays proper.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who
Right.
knows? Maybe we just haven't they released a little news thing like the day of the patch before? So who knows? Maybe we wake up tomorrow and it'd be like, oh yeah, by the way, sign up start tonight. Have fun.
Yeah, it's true. Like they
I
just
mean-
dropped the ball. We're like, we didn't do it ahead of time, but know. Because I think the reason that they told us ahead of time for the last one is because they were overhauling everything. So it's
Mhm.
like, you got to understand, like, this is going to be super different, and here's how. As
Right.
opposed to now where it's like, it's already been established.
Mhm.
You would think if
I hope not,
if that
though.
is the case, that they would actually do like a recurse for it because of English speaking players.
Yeah, I mean that's the
That
other
would kind
thing
of
too.
suck though, because that means they aren't planning on changing anything for the last
And
event.
Yeah.
that's my
So
other
I hope
problem.
not.
Yeah, so
And that might be what they do.
I hope
Oh,
that the
God.
word ranked was just Google Translate for
Like, this is the
another word.
format. We either they didn't get enough feedback or pushback with like the first one, or what, but that might be another possibility. It's like, nah, this is just how it's gonna be. If there are any changes, they're
say,
gonna be
though,
very slight.
thinking of a match coming up, isn't too big of a stretch though. Again, it could have just been a Google Translate thing, but the actual like thing where they have first announced the clan missions, it
Mhm.
mentioned clan battles too.
Mhm.
And I'm pretty sure like there was no talk of ranked or ranked match. It is literally like clan missions and clan battles.
Like,
So
maybe
something
that
like
was
look
it.
forward to it or
Yeah.
whatever.
that's why I don't think it's too big of a stretch to say that they have some kind of clan battling thing in mind, but at the same time, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look at it now. But that was just something I was just like, wait, that might be what it is. But I mean again, could battle then with the word battle, is it actually a battle or is it a competition within the clan? Thinking of it that way. Because that is one of the biggest problems with getting these notes and then throwing it through Google Translate. Could we be getting some weird wording to where you try to read it literally and be like, oh my gosh, and kind of go into what like ladder system only, the top 5 contributors or the top 3 contributors unlock Neidhart that clan set or whatever.
So what we're trying to say is that they need to expand the English side of that site a little bit more.
A lot more, please.
In general.
Get some translators in there.
No misconceptions. Just
Get them to work.
or at the very least, give us an English Twitter. Like, help.
Mhm.
Help.
Well, here's the thing. I have a feeling if like they do make an English Twitter, I think it's probably going to be abused. And I think that's why they haven't made one yet. I'm thinking why they didn't make an English Twitter yet is that they're probably afraid of backlash, like heavy backlash from inside.
Oh, where's my wing Gundam?
Right. And then they'd be
Where's my
spammed by it
Barbados?
and be like absolutely spammed by it because, I mean, the JP Twitter doesn't seem to be spammed a whole lot. Maybe
That's
like
a
in its
lot of
first,
polite requests.
but I mean, maybe when like the Twitter account first started, maybe they were bombarded, and then by now it's just like, hey, we're just gonna make fun of you now in the
Right. I
comment
mean,
section.
that's for the social
Came here
media
to
intern
answer
to
you.
deal with.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's kind
I
of
don't
social
know.
media for the most part.
That would seem kind of weird to me, not making a social media page because you're afraid of negative you're afraid of backlash. Like it's got to be something else. Maybe they just want to do it because like the English page would pretty much just be like, please wait while we defer to the Japanese like
Right.
development team.
Right. And then at that point, you're just waiting. I mean,
But you're waiting for essentially a more comprehensive like rundown of what to expect.
that is true.
Like that's what you're waiting for at that point.
If they respond, does the GBO2 Twitter even respond to messages?
Like actively like on the page? I don't know.
I mean, I don't really look a lot, but I feel like I've never seen it. So maybe it doesn't even matter.
I mean, I think
I'm just talking more
Yeah,
so
that
for the
too.
site. Like the Twitter would probably
Mhm.
be easier than updating and translating the whole site like update per update.
right.
You know, I could see that happening sooner with the Twitter, but yeah, it wouldn't be as useful.
Well, and I'm pretty sure like I'm pretty sure the developers probably thought about that as well. It's like, well, is it worth it to make an English one? Is it to make a Chinese one? Is it worth doing, multiple languages for the Twitter accounts? So maybe it's just maybe it's like one of those things they just don't want to hassle with.
More than likely. I wouldn't be
That
surprised.
seems weird. 'Cause, I mean, a lot of games like this have both. It's a phone game.
Actually, I was
but
gonna say, like, do a lot of Bamco games have their own individual like
They have their
Twitters
own
and or
JP.
insights?
Yeah, they have their own JP Twitters. Yeah, because
No, I mean like stateside.
stateside, no, none
Or
of
does
them
Bamco
exist.
US pretty much just
Crossrays is a Namco IP, and it has a Japanese and an English
It does.
Twitter.
It
Yeah,
has an English.
it's a mobile game, but
I just wonder if they're waiting for people to hire.
Sorry, I said Crossrays. I
Yeah,
mean,
I was
they
gonna
do
say,
too.
like,
They started putting tweets up in English for Crossrays. I mean, it definitely does. But was it? Trying to think. I might set that up on my Twitter. The Tales
you're
of
talking about
Crestoria. Tales of Crestoria has Japanese and English Twitter, and I mean, like I said, Crossray does too. Because I've been getting a bunch of tweets.
You also have to think about this, though. I'm pretty sure Crossrays was like hyped up a lot more than BattleOp being brought over here.
BattleOp was a surprise. Crossrays is what we were expecting from the get-go.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that took like 5,000 years to even like be mentioned ever again after the trailers.
Right.
And then we find out that like some of the releases that we thought were gonna come stateside is mostly just gonna be the Steam version now. So like it's a lot of haziness when it comes to that game right now.
Yeah, that's the weird part. When
5%.
you told me about that, I was like, wait, really? We're just getting the Steam one? What?
It's better than nothing.
I guess.
It's
Still
just
whack.
cats, young.
Which I mean, if it is on Steam, I'll probably a greater chance I'll get
Probably
it.
just grab the single
Yeah.
version. It's
It's easier to get it out the capture just because.
Yeah.
I don't have to like tab out and have the whole game stop just to like mess with my stream program stuff. That's
Yeah.
the bigger thing I'm more concerned about.
And that's why I was thinking more doing PS4. I hope it's not a whole blocked scene. For,
I mean, if you're doing
remote
it,
play.
I was gonna. Oh yeah, if you're doing remote play, that might be tough.
Because which something I found hilarious by
That might actually
Moon
be tough,
Dwellers. Moon Dwellers is a whole blocked scene on remote play.
then.
Wait, what?
Yeah, most Tales of games are too. Bamco does it a lot.
GBO2 was a weird exception for a while. Like I know.
I was surprised.
Well, GBO2, no, because it has no story.
Yeah.
That was the only reason. If it doesn't have a story, it's not going to be. That's why the whole blocking thing exists.
Wait, blocking. Wait, something with remote.
Let me explain. Let me explain. So, if there is a game with a plot, now this is mainly over in Japan. Mainly, they will block a whole game from being streamed via either from their PS4 remote play, to be streamed to Twitch, YouTube, or whatever.
And that goes for like raw recording too. Like that's primarily why it always tells you.
Right. I actually figured this out from Super Robot Wars. If you try to natively stream off of the PS4, not using remote play, but off of the PS4, you cannot stream any Super Robot Wars game. Because the whole game is a block. Remote play kind of bypasses a few of them. Most of them, anyway. The only game that I cannot bypass with remote play is Moon Dwellers.
Bless you.
But I think I know why.
Thanks.
Because Moon Dwellers was also released on PS3. So therefore it had HD8, what's it called? HTCP? Yeah, HTCP embedded in the game. Not on the console, in the game.
Yeah.
So therefore,
and I think that's how that worked, but I know nothing about it. So
well, it was either via it was embedded in the game or it was embedded in the system, and there was two ways of doing that. Apparently, Moon Dwellers wanted to be embedded in both. Don't know why, but it wants to, because I absolutely hate HDCP with a burning passion.
I agree.
I don't know why. Well, the only reason why it exists is so they can get monetary things. That's literally the only reason why. And it's for copyright as well. That is the only thing that it exists for.
That's why localization was a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But yeah, a lot of the games do that.
Oh, hello.
Tales of games were pretty bad about it, and it's kind of the same stink that was raised up when Persona 5 first came out.
Did they fix that?
Well, no, they.
Or no?
I don't know if they actually had block scenes because I had a capture card and I didn't care. But actually, I didn't even stream Persona 5, so I shouldn't even say that either. But I think with their case, Atlas just asked people not to stream past like day X, in the game or whatever.
Okay.
I can't remember how heavy they were going. Like I can't remember if they're like actually banning accounts or whatever, but there's a big thing about that.
On which game?
Persona 5.
Oh, yeah.
You can stream it whatever now because it's been out long enough. When it first came out, Atlas was asking people not to stream past a certain point.
They would like I don't know if you would get fully banned, but they would
probably do a temporary.
Yeah, you would get some kind of penalty for streaming past a certain point. I don't know exactly what would happen.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was like banning or whatever it's called. When you stream things that are copyrighted and it gets taken down.
Yeah.
It's like when you stream the debates or something like that.
Oh, it's called a cease and desist. Like,
it's a little different. It's like there's a different
Essentially
name for it,
copyright
but you got the right
takedown.
idea.
something like that. Anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah. How do we get on that one, on that tangent?
No clue.
Something about capturing scenes in games and surprise you can do on Battle Op and such.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
that's
Got
what
a
it was.
tangent there. Yeah. But yeah, the whole reason why was because of the story. There's no story in Battle. That's the main thing. Anyway.
But yeah, so as far as the rank goes, so I mean we've talked
To
about,
be determined.
yeah, like
Yeah, all we can do is speculate.
I guess we wait till next week and see what happens, or tomorrow. Like, I'm just gonna laugh if I wake up tomorrow and there's just
And we
like,
get it.
and there's just like a
Yeah.
thing that says, "Yo, by the way, here's this post about something that's happening tonight. Sign
Good
up."
luck.
It's like, I overslept. Forgot to put up the
and,
notes.
and I think that's what it is too. Like, they might feel a little bit safer doing that just because it would literally be for the registration period, as opposed to, oh no, you're doing it right here, right now. So you got another week until then. And then they might give us another rundown if they actually did change anything.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, like, we might just actually get it with the notes tomorrow then, if that's the case.
Yeah, so we'll see.
That'll be interesting.
It'd be interesting to see they do it though, because usually they come out on Tuesday mornings.
Yeah, that's the weird part.
Yeah.
But there
I think
has
they
been a
come
couple.
around- I think they come up like at 3 in the morning.
I was gonna say there's
That's
been a couple
early.
that happened on Mondays and a couple that's happened on Wednesdays. But
Yeah, I mean anything's possible. We had a step up banner last week.
yeah,
I thought it'd be this week.
that was a little weird. But so yeah, anything else we want to talk about?
I'm GamingEmblem.
And you sound to 13.
I'm
Well,
GndmManiac.
They're playing the music at the Oscars or whatever.
Well, what do we think the new suit's gonna be? I guess.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing it, and I know this is going to sound weird, but having the Ramzagok and the Shimoda custom drop, that would be nice.
Mhm.
That'd be kind of cool.
That would be nice. Either that, or just drop variants of grunt suits that we don't have already.
And I've never heard of.
Like, I don't know, ground type weapons rack, or any of those.
I wouldn't mind seeing Easy 8 weapons rack. That'd be kind of cool.
That too. Yeah.
Or just I mean, as far as supports that I would like to see, I guess. Again, I would still like to see another 200 cost raid. Just saying.
Oh my god.
But
Right there with you.
like,
Agu guy.
yeah, there we go. Oh god.
Agu guy,
If
oh
that
my
showed up tomorrow, I'd be like, what? Oh,
if
man.
the Agu guy shows up, everybody's gonna be like,
I'm gonna
what
wail
the hell
super
is
hard for
this?
that.
What
That
is
would
this
be amazing.
compounded eye tentacle monster?
But so yeah, as far as supports though that I would like to see, other than stuff that's just crazy amazing, now that they've got the ASL for missiles, seeing like the missile gun cannon would be kind of cool. Just saying.
Yeah.
And then maybe
Well, it's not
like
for
an
all missiles, is it?
easy. Well, no, it's not for all
No, it's
missiles.
just
but
that it's been introduced.
now that it's kind
as
of
a
been introduced,
possibility.
if it's like a spray thing though, like where it's shooting a lot of missiles, then because like the full armor type B has that. I mean, what? It's got like 20 shots, 20 missiles that come out of that
Yeah,
thing.
so this would just be like a smaller
So-
version of that.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it'd be that essentially on a gun cannon, which would kind of be cool.
Or if they do a dual banner of well, what I mean is like dual banner of like something like
But they've already done
Like-
kind of thing.
yeah,
For those
yeah.
banners
I mean,
That's
I
what they
mean-
usually do
when they do a
when they
dual
do
banner.
banner. Yeah.
I mean,
So like the Ifrit when it got the extra levels and all that shit.
yeah.
Oh, by the way, real quick, was that the same banner for the Axaku last week?
What?
Is that the same
Pretty
banner
much.
that the Agzaku had when it came out?
Oh, like the art?
Like the actual art? No.
Yeah. No. Okay. Well,
No.
here's my question. You guys think about the Agzaku machine gun?
I mean,
Subpar.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. We need that thing to get a buff. Just saying. Like,
I mean, they should buff it.
Just
don't
make it a
think
Gatling gun.
Yeah,
Just
really.
make it a Gatling gun that you can fire on the.
there you go. Like, I'll take that. Because I mean, compared to its beam rifle, I still don't like. You could buff that thing quite a bit in several ways, and I still don't think it would be as good as the beam rifle for how the meta of the game's played. It'd be something I'd probably use over the beam rifle just because. But
Just for shits.
yeah, that would be my way to play the Agzaku and the Agzaku command. But yeah, I still don't think even if they buffed it tremendously, it would be something that would compete even with the beam rifle, even if after it got nerfed. And I mean, it's still OP. So that was something that I thought was funny, that it was like right there in the middle. It's like, oh my gosh, the Agzaku has a machine gun. Oh, cool. But it's like, yeah, but it's got a beam
just like the
rifle.
bullpup.
But so yeah,
Yeah, I know.
any
Like
other suits?
early on, people were talking about like it was a big deal in the old game because I don't know if like they had the bullpup in the old game. So
Yeah,
it
they
was
had
pretty
the
much
bullpup, I
the
think.
equivalent or whatever.
Yeah, they had the bullpup machine gun in the first game.
But any suits anybody else would be interested to see? I guess.
I mean, I know this is going to sound really dumb, and it's not from this list at all. It's going to sound very, very dumb. And I'm going to look this up really quick.
There it is.
All right.
Well, while he's looking,
Yeah,
I think
go
for
ahead.
raids, the Agu guy, if we're just going off the list we were looking at, or the Ramzagok would be cool. If the Aqua GM was a general, I think if it had a pool, you taking selfies over there, Magnum? Taking selfies?
Oh.
I'm suggesting.
There we go. I think you heard the can pop. I'm like, I was trying to not have it pop, but I was
Too
like,
late.
it's dented. What in the world? So I was like reaching over to try to make it pop without.
But Aqua Jam would be cool if it had Scorpion get over here hook mechanics.
Yeah.
And we'll say the Zaku Marine for the support.
There we go. That is cool. Like that picture that you linked of it too. That'd be kind of awesome.
So I'm gonna do that. I would like to see that. Now I'm gonna copied and pasted it into my chat here. But
one thing I forgot to mention earlier.
I'll see if I can.
What is it called that you're trying?
It is the RX-79 Easy 8 High Mobility Custom.
What?
Yes.
The Easy 8 variants?
Yes.
Oh my.
Look up the Easy 8 High Mobility Custom. That thing's a space type.
So like a Blue Destiny, but like even crazier looking. Holy shit! What is?
Yeah, I've
what
seen
is
it before.
that gun? What is the fuel things on it? It's got like a Sniper 2 scope head on it.
Yeah, it has a beam spray gun too. And
is it actually the? It is the 2.
It is the 2.
Yes.
Holy shit!
So kind of like what the Guard custom has, but like crazier, I guess.
Yeah, and it has an eye field, or no, the eye field's in the beam saber. Never mind,
Okay.
It's a normal beam saber.
Sabers all have eye field.
Yeah,
that part's not different. That looks really cool though.
There was another variant I wanted.
It almost makes
Would
me
it be
think
the
of like
heavy armed custom?
Yes.
It's like the poor man's Gerbera, almost. Like I could see that being like a space support or something crazy.
Oh, that thing! Holy balls! Yes, please.
Wait, what's this one?
The hack.
It's the heavy arm. It's a heavy custom,
Oh my
pretty
gosh!
much.
Yeah, the hack. I would
It's to
like
throw
to see-
everything on the suit version.
Yeah,
Yep,
it's
and this is
literally
space compatible as
fire
well.
everything.
It's space compatible too.
Um,
I want this thing so bad. So,
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
armament.
Yeah,
Do you want me to
Gustav
list
saw it.
off the? Do you want to list off the? I'll list off the
What
armaments.
the
All right.
This-
So it has a Vulcan gun, a Salamis cannon, a beam saber, and a 100mm machine gun.
Is that it?
It carries a Salamis cannon.
What about the swords?
I was gonna say,
Or
what
are
about
those
the
the cannons?
two?
Looks like it has like
No, those are
Siege-esque looking
those
swords.
those are the two Salamis cannons.
Oh, those are the two
Interesting.
cannons.
Looks like it has knee crushers too.
I think it's the brace for the cannon.
Oh, that
That
could
could
be
be a thing.
it too.
Gets on its knees and just like
But I see what Emblem's talking about. They do look like swords.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
I was like,
tips.
what kind of beam saber nonsense is this gonna be?
yeah, like people like has two of Rond lights
Nice.
or whatever.
Looks like
from
something
Gundam
for
Seed.
Seed.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gustav, do you have any like picks from this list that you would like to see?
I mean, the half cannon I want just because it has a Gatling gun on it.
Yeah.
Half cannon.
let's
definitely.
go. I'll take that too.
Ooh, that'd be cool too. Could you imagine if they had both versions, like an actual changeable sub weapon? You could switch between the Gatling and the cannon.
I want that. Like, if you could
Very
actually get
interesting.
that as a part, and it would just change the title of the suit, and it would just be called the half cannon. That would be neat.
Hmm.
That'd be a way to do that. I don't know if they'd ever implement that, but that'd be nice.
I still
It'd
want
be cool if
Space
that was
BBB.
just its primary and it was whatever else it had was just the secondary stuff, and then what?
Now that we know that the Agu guy is a thing, by the way, as like Mish kind of like goofy suit,
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
totally gonna root for that every banner until we get it.
Yeah. Like as soon as when I was looking down the list, as soon as I saw Augur guy, I was like, no way. No way.
Let's go.
This is a typo or something. Someone's messing with me here.
I hope
You're
it's the claw
pranked.
variant. I hope
No,
it's the
we
claw-
need hentai version 1,000.
It's gotta be half
One
and
of
half,
each,
right?
yeah, like
Yeah,
claw,
I'll take one of
So
each,
like
but-
hard
whip,
stun with the cable, and then you just get in there with the claws.
smack,
But
smack, smack.
if there's no hentai, I'm not interested in it. It's
The
just,
hentai,
it's just
the hentai is gonna
yeah.
be the counter.
yeah. If it's just a clone type, it's literally gonna just be an Akai with an even bigger hitbox. If it's gigantic head,
Big
with its
dumb face.
compound eye. And why does it even have a compound eye? Has anybody like figured that out yet?
Does it even say on the thing as to why? it does?
Yes. That's my answer is just yes.
Oh, okay.
they'll have wall hacks in game.
Oh gosh.
Apparently, they weren't even fielded in anything.
What, the Agu guy?
Like,
Yeah,
the
Shar
Destruction
found,
at California base did
Hmm.
not participate in the assault in Jambro base. Shar discovered a secret entrance to the subterranean base and launched an attack much earlier. When your war ended, they showed up in like double Zeta for like a second.
Yep.
In the hands of civilians.
In the hands of civilians.
In the Tiger Bomb or the Tiger Bomb colony, and that was it.
Oh yeah,
These
the
big dumb
Tiger Bomb
hentai
colony.
monsters.
I can't see that thing having a dodge roll for how big its head is.
They could try. I mean, they gave one to the Act guy, and it's a big dumb hobbly suit, and it backflips.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah,
the thing is that it's a round head. This thing's just like big.
It's just like flat though. It just
Yeah,
has
so
those
like
big
if it
two
tries to
dumb.
dodge roll, it just like smacks down on the head.
It just couldn't do it to the side. It had the like how the what
Could
is
be a
it?
Dom dodge roll.
Like the ball or like the Oga when it's dodge
Oh
rolls.
yeah.
It only does it to the side or whatever.
Side.
Like it just be like that, but it only does it forward and backwards.
Well, maybe the head's flat so that its counter tackle can be at head planting and doing a spin kick.
It would have a head buffer on it at least.
Definitely head buffer. All right, I better make these pages just to make sure.
Oh my god.
Get
Oh,
this
gosh.
prep.
Just keep them hidden, but just save the launch, smash the button. Like, we got it, let's go.
It's like I already figured out all the stats and everything. Just smacks it down.
So you think about though, like the compound eye, the primary camera would actually be physically moving between those slots. I know they say that, like, I don't know if it's the Zaku or like certain other ones that have like really big camera visors. They have secondary cameras within the visor itself that are stationary. But maybe this was to combat that problem a little bit. Like if they were just trying to use it as a different system where it would actually just see from the edges wherever it was. So it would just have like a bigger perspective.
Jeez, I can't I can't imagine how big the monitor screen is. Like
It's just like this whole like fisheye camera going on the whole time.
Well, it's just like sitting in the cockpit. You're just like, yeah, nice. I see the little windows everywhere.
It's like my FOV is like massive on this thing.
So wait,
Oh, well,
did
you
you
know
also
what?
see the ag there in the list? Was the ag in the list?
Yeah.
Oh my
the
gosh.
The ag was in the first game too. It
Oh
has drills
man.
for arms.
Oh dude. Yes.
It's our first getter. I mean, we have the gun cannon as the getter 1. We have the gun tank as getter 3. Can't
I don't
make
know.
the
I
Gian-
saw the Gian not the Gian. I saw the Zeong recently. I was watching an extra large stream, and he has his Christmas colors on, and he was playing the Zeong when I showed up. And like, not gonna lie, the first thing I thought was Getter 1. Like, can you just think about it? It's got a chest laser, Getter beam.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little. It doesn't have a tomahawk or whatever, but
Tomahawk.
But you even have like a head. You have head getter beam with the the Xeon mouth laser,
Yeah.
and you have a normal getter beam with the charge laser. You just have
Yep.
weird, out of character finger lasers.
Right.
It's just getter if getter 3 was not attached, right? No legs.
I'm
Right.
seeing
Or would getter 3 be the or would getter 2 be the legs? Whatever. Anyway, go ahead.
I'm seeing
it
a
would
variation thing with the ag and the Agru guy and stuff, and the Juagu, and then the Zogok is here as well on this
The
Yeah,
list.
they're all
So,
part of the same
The ag,
program.
there's like a support looking ag. Just saying.
Yeah,
Is it what the
missile
missiles?
arm and then a missile head.
Yeah, like give me that.
I like how it looks like it has razors or like a buzzsaw on its shoulders on either side.
Yeah, in the world.
Like
It's
those will just
counter.
shoot out like it's a Mega Man boss or something.
Yeah, I was thinking like
I'm
when
glad
I
you
saw the
mentioned Mega Man.
Zogok.
When I saw the Abyssal one earlier, the
Mhm.
first thing it made me think of is Tron Bon from Marvel vs. Capcom.
Oh, the Gustav or whatever that she pilots.
Yeah, like especially the drill, like one of her attacks is like a literal drill punch.
Yeah.
Just made me think about that.
That's cool.
But yeah,
Like a Gustav.
That'd be hype.
yeah, we want to go ahead and wrap things up though. We want to get started.
Sure.
on that?
Seems good.
Okey-dokey.
I think we've hit everything. So yeah, who wants to go first? Emblem.
Sure. I am GamingEmblem, also known as GamingEmblem. The Gaming Coup joke is getting a little bit drawn out, so we'll just we'll move on from that one for a little bit for now. You can find me on website.com/GamingEmblem. It's pretty cool. Just type that in, it'll bring up everything. It won't, don't do it. It'll probably just give you a bad link. But still going to be playing Romancing Saga, get ready for Crossrays, and potentially even trying to set up some events with our stream group, the GBS Gundam Broadcast Station, which Gustav happens to be a member, that guy up there. So just feel free to check us out. We'll be playing video games on the internet, including GBO2.
Cool.
And that's all I have to say about that, Jenny.
Yeah, Gustav, you want to go next?
Yeah. I am Gustav the 13th, Gustav _13. Pretty much on everything except Twitter, which is the instead of the underscore. Haven't updated to any other social media. I think I'm good. I was thinking maybe Instagram, but I think we're gonna leave that one.
You sure you're not on Just Farmers?
What was that we were talking
gosh.
about last week? With fucking,
The dating
Funny
sites.
Fish and
Oh
shit?
my gosh.
Yeah.
And Iron just showed up in my chat too. That is perfect timing. Well played,
Nice.
guys.
Q is starting to put our recordings on Pornhub while we're at it.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my.
But no, also do my GBO2 daily, and we are trying to figure out our way through the rest of Octopath Traveler. And hopefully, once Cross Race come out, we'll be working on that as well. So stay tuned for all that. Next.
Maniac?
I'm
Choose
GndmManiac.
wisely.
Oh my god. I'm GndmManiac. You can follow me. Wow. Find me. Twitch.tv/GndmManiac. I try to stream Super Robot Wars and Gundam Battle Operations. I try. Anyway, other than that, you can find me on Twitter, I guess. I don't use it as much. At GndmManiac. I don't much. I have it. Anyway, yeah, there we go. I'm done.
Cool.
There we go. I'm done.
You just leave and Akai invades his Earth.
Maniac out.
As always, though, everybody's information will be down in the description below if you're watching this on YouTube. But guys, thanks for coming on again. Anyway, my name is EG Magnum. I stream on Twitch, do the YouTubes, got a Discord and stuff. Again, most of that would be either in the description or if you come to my Twitch page, it is down below. Also, do the Twitters, do the tweets, trying to get into that a bit more. Might be opening some other stuff too. We'll see about that. But as far as it goes right now, Twitter just shows when I go live and if I have a random thought or whatever is going on that day. If the schedule is changing or something, then I do a little post like that. But for the most part, that's what I do with Discord as well. But overall, stream GBO2. Just got done with Death Stranding last night, so that's pretty much done. Unless we find a cure for Truck Coon's truck cancer, then that's pretty much done for now. Probably going to be doing some Monster Hunter World within the next few days here. Trying to figure out with.
Are you still playing with Chad?
Yeah, just figuring out when he's able to play and stuff, and when we're going to do that. I thought it might be tomorrow, but it might be Thursday or something. So we'll see what happens. Otherwise, I'll probably be doing some Path of Exile, getting caught up on that. Last few things happening before the next league that starts the second Friday of December. So I'll be hitting it hard then. Ooh.
Oh.
Envoy, is that Envoy at the beginning?
Don't mind me. It is Envoy at the beginning. Keep going. Don't mind me.
Now I've lost my train of thought now. What
Oh my god.
where
Cephalon, the ultimate Time Lord. Don't mind me. Keep going.
You got me on that one. Like, what? Is that something kind of new or?
No.
Oh, really? I'm trying to remember what that is. It's old. If
Keep
it's
going,
around.
don't mind me.
Okay. Anyway.
Focus.
Tangent already. Yeah, pretty much. Oh yeah, streaming stuff. Yeah, gonna be doing some Getting Over It again, and probably Arma back on the Sunday and Monday type thing. Other than that, wait, is that what I think it is? No, wait, never mind.
It's Minerva, the light sworn maiden.
Oh, that's one of those Lightsworn things. Okay.
Yeah, because you gotta summon Big Daddy JD
Oh, there
to
you
win
go.
the video game.
There you go.
Don't mind me. Keep going.
But anyway, that's pretty much it. Other than that, yeah, Path of Exile, GBO2. Yeah, I think that's about everything. Oh my gosh, what is this one?
Don't mind me.
Are we doing
I'm
show
trying
and
to.
tell?
I'm trying to.
Doors in Mysteria
Don't make
Darkness.
me.
I'm just showing stuff.
Don't
off
make
our
me go
main-
grab my entire box.
We're close the stream out. Keep going. Don't mind me.
Show and tell. Show and tell.
Oh gosh, here we go. Anyway,
It's distract
yeah.
Magnum. Keep going.
It's that is.
Oh
legit.
my
now
gosh!
that's
where did you
hype.
get that?
Okay, you know what?
Actually, I got this as a Christmas present.
But anyway, guys.
That's awesome.
It's a fucking ashtray, by the way.
That's nice.
Okay. I do
Tells
gotta.
you how old that is.
Hang on. Let's. Okay, cool. Wing Gundam.
Close, keep closing the stream
No,
out. What
no,
are you
hang on.
the podcast? What are you doing?
Hang on. I gotta.
No one is flexing here.
Here we go.
Oh,
We gotta bring out the Halo Vulture.
the big money.
Oh my god!
Brought out the big guns. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, there we go. Yeah, I stream, play games, and do stuff. Stuff happens. But anyway,
Games
guys,
and
if you're
stuff.
watching this on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Monster Reborn. Leave us a comment down below of what you'd like us to talk about in the future. But anyway, guys, that's it for this one. Have a good one. Peace.
Later.